You are listening to a Monster Kid podcast.
Why don't we rent a video tonight?
Yeah, can we please?
On a weeknight?
Yeah, come on, Mom. It's okay.
Sure. Come on. Let's throw caution to the wind.
Put a little weekend in your week. Rent a video.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Vericon Video, a show where we relive forgotten and unforgettable movies that once lined the shelves of video stores everywhere. I'm Brandon.
And I'm Joseph.
And today we're following an unassuming family man computer salesman who actually works for a secret government agency called the Omega Sector. He shoots and blows up bad people and saves the world for a living, but his wife and daughter thinks he's kind of dull. He is Harry Tasker, and some terrorist asshole stole some nukes, and that's his problem now, as is the suspicion of his wife having an affair. But we got some good laughs, and we'll be talking about those and more in today's episode on True Lies from 1994. So sit back, relax, and welcome.
Welcome to the Cafe 80s, where it's always morning in America, even in the afternoon.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. I have the only gun on board. Welcome to Con Air.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
Okay, good evening, America, and welcome aboard Apollo 13.
I'm so glad you could come. This is going to be such an exciting day. I hope you're enjoying it. I think you will.
Secretly a spy, but thought by his family to be a dull computer salesman, Harry Tasker is tracking down nuclear missiles in the possession of Islamic jihadists. But Harry's mission is complicated when he realizes his neglected wife, Helen, is contemplating an affair with Simon, a used car salesman who claims he's a spy. And when jihadists kidnap Harry and Helen, the secret agent must save the world while patching up his marriage. So, Joseph, do you remember when terrorism was funny in movies?
Yeah, geez. Now it gets so serious, Brandon. God.
Well, it's like, as we'll find out in a minute, as we go through some background on True Lies, terrorism used to be funny.
It did used to be funny.
Like we could make
used to enjoy
bombs. Yeah, we could make bombs on planes jokes till the cows come home. We can't do that anymore.
No, we are, I mean, it's no different than like saying Kobe now. You know, I used to just, shoot things into a basket and say Kobe, and now that's depressing.
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
It's so it's sad. It is. I mean, we
I like the comparison you're making, Joseph.
Thank you. I tried, but it is kind of depressing though. Like or Air Force One. When that came out, right?
Oh,
I mean, it was
a
great film. Fun. I mean, it was low key funny in terms of Harrison Ford being Harrison Ford.
Oh yeah, get off my plane.
Exactly. Oh my god, yes.
Yeah, that was a great movie. But yeah, I mean, I know what you mean. Like I used to have a totally decent Frank Underwood impersonation that I would do from House of Cards, but now I can't do it anymore because Kevin Spacey fucked it up. He had to go be a creep,
facts.
and I mean, it turned out he was a creep all along. But
oh man,
anyway, so what are some of your favorite like non-007 spy movies?
Well, it's funny because when we were doing this on our Twitter page, when I saw Bridge of Spies, I was like, no fucking way! Like this is so relatable. Tom Hanks in Bridge of Spies was, at least modern age, was my favorite.
Really?
All time so far, like non-007, yeah. And of course, I have to say the music was great. I do, because that was a large push into it for me.
Yeah.
But it was the little things too that I loved, because there was a scene in Bridge of Spies where he's going into the hot zone of the USSR in the controlled Germany area, and all you see, it was nighttime. They were passing over the Berlin Wall. You just saw the intensity. Maybe it was 4 kids. They were trying to get over the wall. They got caught on the spotlight by some soldiers. They were immediately gunned down. It was crazy.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely crazy. Yeah. And I mean, you just saw this all in like 5 seconds worth of shot. Yeah. Crazy stuff.
I'll check it out for sure.
But how about you?
Oh man, that's a tough question. Like I like asking these questions, but I don't like answering them myself. But I would say it would probably be this movie.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed this one a lot. We asked Twitter, we asked some of our Twitter followers, some of the Monster Kids wrote in We asked what some of their favorite non-007 spy movies are. And Mr. Sketches came back with quite a little impressive list. Black Book, Atomic Blonde, Bridge of Spies, Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, the Oldman version. I feel like I'm reading a poem or something. 3 Days of the Condor. Oh, yeah, with Redford. JX Dill wrote in, he likes the movie Sneakers. And that's a really good movie, good ensemble cast there. It was pretty funny. Yeah. Ryan S. wrote in Spies Like Us and Mission Impossible. I'm assuming he means like the mid-90s Mission Impossible, that's a really fun spy movie.
Granted, like with Mission Impossible in the later films, it kind of, oh, here we go again, Tom Cruise being Tom Cruise.
Yeah, it does feel like more of the same. But yeah,
it is.
But in a way, I think most of us go to those movies because we expect, to see a lot of what we've seen before. We want to see the masks and the voice changing and the really cool gadgets and stuff like that. Which we don't have a lot of gadgets in this movie.
We got a couple.
We got some tracking devices and
some
stuff you hook up to a computer.
No ordinary. Oh, where's the rabbit's foot? Oh, I don't know. We must get the rabbit's foot. Let's do some high-tech sequencing to get the rabbit's foot. Okay. Yeah, it's
so what is your background or connection to this movie, Joseph?
So actually, when we proposed to do this show, this episode for this movie, I had seen it one time back in high school, and I saw it on Hulu, and I was like, oh my God, like this has Arnold Schwarzenegger in it. And I haven't seen it. What's going on with my life? And so I at first thought it was going to be like this Get Smart, kind of vibe, but it actually turned out to be so much fucking better. and it was more intense. I mean, of course, we bring into the terrorism part of it that was actually more intense than Get Smart. I mean, anything can be more intense than Get Smart, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
But the fact that Arnold Schwarzenegger, I mean, this dude looks young, looks in his prime, kicking ass as usual, and the plot was just brilliant. So yeah, first time I saw it was in high school, and I loved it, and still love it. So how about you, Brandon?
Nice. That's a very good question. I've been racking my brain trying to remember when I first saw this movie. I might have seen it in theaters. I'm almost, I don't know, 90% sure I saw it in theaters, but I watched it a lot on HBO. Yeah. Like I do. And that's where I watched it for the podcast. It's nice. Still on there. I mean, I own it, but I didn't want to walk to my room and get the disc out and put it in and then go wait for the loading screen. It just gets complicated,
Subscriptions are perks.
They are. Yeah. They really are. Let's give you guys a little bit of background, some context on True Lies. It's written, directed, and co-produced by James Cameron. It stars Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jamie Lee Curtis, Tom Arnold, Art Malik, Tia Carrera, Bill Paxton, Elijah Dushku, Grant Heslov, and Charlton Heston has a small role. It is based on the 1991 French comedy La Totale, a film suggested to him by Schwarzenegger, who wanted to do a film like that because he thought the super secret agent character was very interesting. And after watching the film, Cameron loved the idea of presenting this secret agent with nearly unlimited professional resources as a family man, basically asking the question, who would James Bond be if he got home and had to answer to his wife?
So James Cameron originally hired a team of writers to help him come up with the film's jokes. However, after being mostly unsatisfied with their work, Cameron let them go and decided to try his own hand at comedy. He rewrote the entire script from scratch and kept only 2 jokes from the team of writers, one of which being Arnold Schwarzenegger's famous "You're fired" line. Yeah, it's crazy.
I think the comedy is really good in this. I think the jokes land really well. I mean, a lot of that depends on the performance, but I think it's really funny.
It's smooth. It's very smooth.
It's classy. It's good writing all over. Just from the big picture stuff to even just the granular level. Just the nitty gritty. It's just well done. It's good writing. It's good directing. And good performances. Jamie Lee Curtis said in an interview that in Schwarzenegger's contract, he would get top billing before the title. So then it would have been the title and then starring Jamie Lee Curtis. But when Cameron finished editing the film, he saw it as a domestic epic, a film about a marriage. And so he called up Schwarzenegger and asked him if it would be okay to put Jamie Lee Curtis's name with his above the title, to which Arnold was like, yeah, that's totally cool. He immediately agreed. And in the world of show business, as Jamie Lee Curtis said, the credit is such a coveted, negotiable commodity. And that for Schwarzenegger to give her billing before the title was quote, a real mensch move on his part, which I thought was pretty cool. This also stars Tom Arnold. A few months ago, over the holiday break, I watched a lot of Roseanne. And so I saw a lot of Tom Arnold. But yeah, he didn't expect to get a role in this movie. He went to audition mostly just to meet James Cameron. He did some scenes with Arnold, awesome. And Cameron immediately noticed they had really good chemistry. And afterwards, he said jokingly about Arnold Schwarzenegger, he's not that big. I think I can take him. And that really amused Cameron. And that's it. But 20th Century Fox was like, no, we don't really want him, because at the time, he didn't have a great reputation because, what was going on with his then wife, Roseanne. But when Cameron threatened to take the movie elsewhere, they relented. And so later, Tom Arnold found out about this, and he was really grateful for Jim Cameron to take a chance on him. And they became good friends, as did he and Arnold Schwarzenegger. And Tom Arnold said that this is his favorite movie he's ever been in.
That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. And later in Eraser, which would come a couple years later, Schwarzenegger worked with James Coburn, and he said that this was his favorite action film ever. And I mean, it does double duty. We said it's funny. It's got a lot of really great action. And we know that Jim Cameron can do action really well. He's coming off of Terminator 2, I think.
Unreal.
He's proven himself. What do you think about the cinematography in this movie?
For a early 90s film, mm-hmm. I thought it was pretty good. I did think it was pretty good. Mm-hmm. I'm saying pretty good as a hopefully in our listeners' opinion, accurate statement here, mm-hmm. As a good way to describe it, because I mean, compared to others made in this decade, you have to admit, like it was pretty solid.
Yeah.
But
I'm kind of like you though. Like I was trying to think how I felt about the cinematography, and it was pretty much, I didn't really notice it that much. It didn't draw attention to itself, which is probably a good thing that I wasn't very conscious of it. But this guy, Russell Carpenter, he's had a really great career. He became an overnight name after, as he said, 20 years of swimming upstream in very obscure rivers when Cameron decided to hire him to shoot True Lies. And he was initially hired as a DP for a much smaller project that ultimately fell through, but Cameron liked Carpenter so much that he kept him on for a bigger shoot. And this guy had shot Critters 2, The Lawnmower Man, which is a really fun, weird movie, Pet Sematary 2, and Hard Target before tackling True Lies, but then later won an Academy Award for Titanic. So there you go.
What a man.
Yeah. He also shot Shallow Hal, which might be forgivable at some point, but
I guess we can forgive him at some point.
Yeah, he won an Oscar for Titanic, and so he can do what he wants now, no matter how bad it is.
Exactly. So according to the Guinness Book of World Records, this is the first movie to have a production budget of $100 million, and this made it to the most expensive movie at the time, breaking the record of James Cameron's previous movie, Terminator 2, Judgment Day, which is crazy to think about because that movie was insane.
Yeah.
It would lose this record the next year to Waterworld in 1995.
Yeah. And that was at the time, like, that was a huge deal. It was even part of the marketing for Waterworld that it was the most expensive blockbuster ever made, $200 million or whatever.
Yeah.
Now that's chump change. We get those.
It's chump change, yeah.
Every
year.
We're
going to the billions now.
I want to see $1 billion movie.
Like,
what would $1 billion movie look like?
I think let's all think of Avatar on steroids. I think that would make $1 billion mark right there.
We're getting a couple more Avatars. I mean, they're filming. Russell Carpenter is filming them for Jim Cameron right now.
Good stuff.
Which I did go to, not to digress too much, but in May, I did go to Universal Studios and their Islands of Adventure, and I got to check out their Pandora world thing over there, and that was phenomenal. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, it's incredible. Like I don't really care for Avatar that much, but this experience and the ride and everything was top notch. Like it was absolutely terrifying for me because all of your senses are engaged. It's like you're on the back of one of those winged creatures.
Oh man, yeah.
And you can feel it has this air bladder between your legs, like as you're riding it, that it will expand and contract like the breathing of the animal is breathing between your legs.
Awesome.
Yeah, and you can smell like the rainforest and stuff. It's just total immersion. I had to close my eyes and it didn't even help all that much. Because my brain was trying to tell my body that I'm actually on Pandora and I'm riding this creature.
Man.
But anyway,
cool.
Sorry.
Yeah, this was the first Lightstorm Entertainment project to be distributed under Cameron's multi-million-dollar production deal with 20th Century Fox, as well as the first major production for the visual effects company Digital Domain, which was co-founded by Cameron. Now, Digital Domain is a heavy hitter in the visual effects industry, having done effects for both DC and Marvel movies.
That's right. Yeah, it all started with True Lies.
How about that? Fun facts, guys.
Fun facts. It ranked number 1 in its opening weekend, a box office success, earning almost $150 million in the U.S., $232 million in the rest of the world, totaling about $378 million worldwide, making it the third best grossing movie of 1994 behind Forrest Gump. There it is.
Wow.
And The Lion King. I figured we would have some connection to either Forrest Gump or Tom Hanks. Yeah.
It had to be. It just has to be.
True Lies was originally supposed to star Tom Hanks in the lead role as Harry Tasker, but he was unavailable. His partner, Albert Gibson, would have been played by John Travolta.
Of course.
I can't believe I'm using that joke again.
John Travolta.
You patrons, you probably heard it on our latest episode over there on A Knight's Tale, which is probably the funniest episode we've ever recorded.
And that says a lot considering how Sleepy Hollow was done. So
Sleepy Hollow has moved down
the ranks.
Moved down the ranks to number 2. But yeah, so if you're not a patron, for as little as $2 a month, you can go over there and listen to all of our bonus episodes that we've done thus far. And we have one about every month. So you should go check that out. Oh, I thought this was kind of cool. This was the first Hollywood movie to be released in Vietnam since the Vietnam War.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So if you ever see that on Jeopardy someday, you'll be ready to go. Guys. Which, by the way, Jeopardy is on Netflix now, and that was all I did yesterday was watch Jeopardy.
It's a very good show. Like Alex Trebek has done a very good job.
Yeah,
overall, he's a great guy, man.
He's done it for like 30. I think he said 32 years. He's been hosting that show.
Every day of every week.
I'm not really sure what their shooting schedule is like, but I imagine they would probably try to knock it out in a few weeks for the year. Or I don't know. Maybe they do it like every week. I'm not sure. I know Wheel of Fortune, they go off and they shoot for a few weeks and then they're off the rest of the year.
Wow.
For her performance, Jamie Lee Curtis won the Golden Globe for Best Actress in a motion picture, musical, or comedy, and the Saturn Award for Best Actress, while Cameron won the Saturn Award for Best Director. And as of 2020, this is the only feature film that James Cameron has directed to be nominated for an Academy Award for Best Visual Effects and not win in that category.
Man, that just tells you his record of fame right there.
Oh, yeah. This dude knows effects, man.
Yeah, seriously. So shortly after the film's release, video games based on the film of the same name were released for the Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, Game Gear, and Game Boy consoles.
I played one of these. I think it was for the Sega Genesis, and I remember it being pretty fun. It was pretty fun. You just kill bad guys, but
okay.
Yeah,
figures. Yeah, a sequel was in development until 9/11 happened. Oof. Cameron and Schwarzenegger hung it up because terrorism isn't funny anymore. That goes back to what we were talking about earlier.
Exactly.
Terrorism isn't funny anymore, and
I mean we can still make movies about terrorism, but they just have to be action movies. No comedy,
let's just go 0 Dark 30 and just make it all so these Navy SEALs are going in and we're going to kill some people. So this is based on a true story, and we don't have any bang bang shooty. Everything's going to be comical a little bit.
Bang bang shooty. That's great.
Thank you. Okay, yeah, but anyways, so to finish this fun fact. But in May 2019, MCG announced while as a guest on Claire Live that the film will receive a television series on Disney Plus. So please, if you don't have a subscription to Disney Plus, Go get it right now. It is totally worth it. I am Star Wars biased, so of course I'm going to say that is worth it, but please still get the subscription.
Nice little plug there, Joseph. What's your avatar on Disney Plus? I'm trying to remember.
It is the one, the only Darth Vader.
Oh, of course.
Yes.
I'm the Mandalorian. I'm Mondo.
Yeah. He's Mondo.
Mondo.
Yeah.
Speaking of 9/11, that had come up on our previous episode on Patreon on A Knight's Tale, because that was supposedly the in-flight movie when the planes crashed into the two towers. Yeah.
Right. Jeez.
Yeah, that's all I got in terms of background and context. Joseph, would you care to tango through this movie?
Brandon, if we don't, I'm going to kill you very soon.
Okay.
And now, our feature presentation.
Oh my God, it hurts. Jesus. So we open at night on this large estate. This is Lake Chapeau, Switzerland. I laughed so hard at this because maybe I was just really high, but it was so like chapeau is French for hat. So I was like, this is Lake Hat. I don't know why. I just got really tickled by that.
Maybe it's in the shape of a hat.
Yeah. Maybe that's it.
Maybe.
Maybe it's like a hat maker baron or something like that.
There you go.
Yeah. Swiss hats, I don't know why I just wrote Big Gate. So there's a big gate at this place.
There's a big gate.
It's snowy. These guests are arriving, black ties and dresses, very elegant attire. Armed guards are on patrol. The guests are greeted by the valet. And then now we're underwater. And for a moment, it made me think of the opening to The Mask, because that's how that movie opens.
Right.
And so there's a man in a suit, blowtorch, scuba gear. He's breaking through this underwater gate. He infiltrates this facility, or this estate, rather. I got GoldenEye on my mind, I guess. I'm thinking about the facility. Yeah. But yeah, he's making all these James Bond moves. He breaks the ice, the lake ice, and the Governor emerges. This is Harry Tasker, played by Schwarzenegger. And just looking at the credits here, so Brad Fiedel did the music for this movie, and he scored Terminator and Terminator 2, and he wrote and performed the scores himself on those.
That's amazing. Yeah,
it's all synthesized. It's brilliant. I had no idea that.
Holy crap.
That T2 especially, because it has such a scope to it. Like, it sounds like a full, but there are many, many layers to that. It's really, really well done. But he also did Johnny Mnemonic, Striking Distance, and 7 episodes of the Time Cop TV show for some reason. But other than that, he hasn't really done a lot of work since. Go check out his music. So in the van, we've got Albert Gibson. He just is referred to as Gib in this movie. It's played by Tom Arnold. And then his buddy, Faisal. And I don't think his name is actually mentioned in the movie. I tried to listen for it. Did you ever hear it?
I didn't. It's not. I don't think it is. I watched it 2 times and I was like, there's no mention at all.
Yeah.
This guy's name.
I mean, if there is, it must have been cut, because I'm really surprised.
Parents did him justice.
Yeah.
I don't think his parents did him justice. That's disgraceful.
Disgraceful Faisal.
Disgraceful Faisal.
Good Lord. So they're in the surveillance van and they see, they're talking to Harry by radio. Harry is by this boathouse and he's already got a tux on underneath his wetsuit. And he's got his gun, got an in-ear monitor, and he primes this explosive charge, and he hides it out by the boathouse. Oh, and puts on a little splash of cologne.
That was my favorite. I was just like, yeah, man, that's my man right there, getting his cologne on. That's the most important thing you could do, guys, is don't worry about anything else. As long as you got your cologne, you're set.
Yeah, I mean, here he's been, swimming underwater in a wetsuit, and he's had that like a full tuxedo on underneath it. I mean, probably smells really bad.
Yeah.
So Harry makes his way inside. He goes in through the kitchen, which I think is kind of funny, because he comes out and the chef or one of the cooks is trying to talk to him, and he starts speaking to him in French. And he embarrasses the kitchen staff. He's like, what is this shit? I'll get it out of here. This has too much garlic or whatever. And the guy's like, oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. Yes, of course. And he plucks a flute of champagne from a tray and off he goes to the races. He's in the ballroom. The Blue Danube is playing, which you don't really hear that very much anymore in movies.
No.
Not used ironically, I guess. He's walking up to people saying, oh, nice to meet you again. I'm like, who was that guy? So you think he's just wheeling and dealing here.
Yeah.
Oh, and then we get Tia Carrera. Juno Skinner. That's a Bond femme fatale's name if I ever heard one.
Oh my God.
It's not very punny though. Like
it's just there.
Like Xena on a top or something like that.
Right.
There's something kind of aggressive about it. Skinner,
Skinner.
But she's great. I think she is. I mean, I'm gay and I think she's a gorgeous woman.
Oh, she's absolutely just jaw dropping.
Yeah, and I loved her in Wayne's World. She's really great as Cassandra and that. Talented musician as well. Outside on the balcony, Harry scales the wall to get into this office, and he's avoiding the guards and their big doggos down there. Harry hooks up this gadget to a computer, and we see this old Windows logo, which is great. It's like Windows 95.
Right.
Or NT or CE or something like that. So anyway, links up, copying the files, been back to the van. Faisal is played by Grant Heslov. He's a great actor and producer.
He hasn't been in that many movies, has he?
He has 69 acting credits.
No way.
Yeah.
Are you serious? 69 acting credits?
I believe that's right.
Holy shit. Okay, well,
something.
I was proved wrong. All right, wow.
Yeah, you'll see him pop up every now and then. I'll see his name pop up in the credits as producer sometime.
69.
Yeah. So Harry goes to make an escape. This guard walks up to him and hey, is everything all right? And Harry asks in perfect Arabic. And I love this in the subtitle. It says, in parentheses, in perfect Arabic, where's the John?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I think that this is a little wink to the audience to let them know that, hey, we're not going to be taking ourselves too seriously here.
Just make sure you just understand where we're coming from, basically.
Yeah. Kind of setting the tone.
I mean, he could have been like, Jamama Wally. They would have been like, that's perfect Arabic.
Yeah.
Where's the John?
Yeah. So no problem. He lets Harry go downstairs, but a little suspicious. Guards are uneasy. Juno introduces herself as an arts and antiquities dealer, and Harry introduces himself as Harry Rehnquist. She's talking about her work and everything, and says, do you like the period, meaning of this particular, like Assyrian architecture or Assyrian art? It's I adore it. And Gibb in the van says, oh, hey, Harry, guards are going apeshit down there. And so he's got to hide for a little bit. And so he asks her to dance. It's time to tango. We get Por una cabeza. This is the very same track from Scent of a Woman.
Yep. I recognize that too.
Yep.
I recognize that too.
And it's funny that Schwarzenegger's biggest challenge for the movie was not doing all these physical stunts, but dancing the tango. He had to take dancing lessons, to realistically perform the dance. He rehearsed the scene for about 6 months. He wanted to make sure he was as good at the tango as Al Pacino was in Scent of a Woman.
And Pacino was like the guy.
Oh, yeah. So. Yeah. Pacino wins on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Harry's not even doing all that much right now.
No, he's there. I mean, he's like the supervisor in a way,
he's just there observing, He's just there for the party.
He's chilling.
He's there for the hors d'oeuvres. It's funny that this is a little side note, but for a long time, I'd say most of my life, my mother used to talk about serving hours devours at parties, and it didn't dawn on me until I saw it in writing, and I was like, "Oh, she means hors d'oeuvres."
You needed subtitles.
Yeah, exactly. My mom's so funny. Yeah, like I used to get this Bon Appetit magazine because I'm into I like to cook and stuff, and she was like, "Oh, you got one of them Bon Appetites." Oh, I love it when
That's awesome.
Gets stuff wrong. It's so funny. But anyway, back to True Lies. We get these electronic files unlocked, and Faisal was like really excited. He's like, "Oh, I'm got my hand up your dress, and I am going for it." Gibbs just like, "Just copy the goddamn files." So this is a guy, he really loves a job, and he really likes hacking. Apparently, he's that guy. Guards are waiting for dance to finish to rush Harry. I'm not really sure. Like they look a little apprehensive. Did you notice that?
Yeah. I'm like, okay, are you going for it or not? Are you just going to stand there, love the dance, and be like, okay, now we're going in? Oh, I don't know. It was just a very interesting thing to see. Yeah,
it makes you think that they know something's up, but that I don't know if they know it's Harry yet.
Yeah, that's true.
Even though the guy who led him downstairs seemed a little suspicious. I don't know. I'm not really sure. It doesn't really matter. Anyway, he's got to get out of there. Mission, they've got what they came for.
Now it's time to roll.
It's time to roll. Harry's got to go. Got a plane to catch. So he gets her card and says, "Oh, my main offices are in Rome. How nice for you, Miss Skinner." And Juno is, as Gib puts it, ready to bear his children.
That was amazing. I died.
So he thinks that just women just melt for Harry Tasker, you know.
Hey guys, when you want to meet women, one of the first things you need to say when you take them on a coffee date, like I do, or you just take them on a $200 dinner. First line you need to be just straight up say is, "I want you to bear my children." You will guarantee get a marriage out of that.
I feel like this is treading on like the Office territory. This seems like something that Dwight would say.
Yes, that's exactly it.
Because he's very concerned about having an heir to his beet farm.
Yeah.
Fortune. So Harry said he's going to go right out the front gate, and this guard approaches him and wants to see his invitation. He's like, "Sure, here's my invitation." And it's a button, and the boathouse blows up. So we were creating a diversion long enough so we can at least, like, everybody's mobilizing. It's a big chase. It's really hard to talk about like an action scene. So I just wrote chase, dogs, machine guns, snowmobiles. Harry takes them down.
Stunts.
Oh, I thought for a minute that I was going to be doing that. Stunts. Especially when we get to the men's room scene later.
Oh yeah.
I was like, I don't even know what I'm going to write here. Like, it's like
stunts.
Yeah, stunts. Stunts in the bathroom. Harry kills everybody. and steals a horse. Anyway, we'll get there. I'm sorry.
Oh,
getting ahead of ourselves.
It's great.
Yeah, so these two, I like this bit. These two dogs, when they leap, you know.
Yeah, that was slick.
And he just takes their heads and bonks them together like the Three Stooges and is like, "Stay."
I'll be back.
Yeah, I love the one-liners in this movie, and there's some good ones. There's some good ones, and it feels very much like, yeah, we know this is the big one-liner, the big zinger, but I don't know, it's kind of fun. Gib and I just put pal. Gib and Faisal are in the van. They're on their way to pick up Harry. Their guards on skis. Very G.I. Joe, Snake Eyes kind of vibe.
Yeah, seriously.
Very James Bond kind of vibe too. But it's at night, which I think is really cool. Just the light on the snow and everything, and all the gunfire. They rendezvous, and I like that Gib is like, "Just right out the old front gate, huh?" Yeah, and Harry's like, "Can you move back a second?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure." So he just, Gib leads back so Harry can shoot some of those guys on the skis. It's great. Shoots them through the window. Which,
it was a great shot.
Yeah, it was a good shot. But if that had really happened, Albert Gibson would not be able to hear anything for the rest of his life because that gun was right in his face when it went off. Just the sound of that would have annihilated his eardrums, I'm sure. So off they go. We can still make our flight. Later on, Harry is dropped off at home, and he is given his Harry Tasker identity stuff, his keys, wallet, passport, so on, and a souvenir for Dana. That's his daughter, his teenage daughter, and his wedding ring. You know, what a team. And so he is back to his old life. He climbs into his bed with his wife, Helen, and she's kind of half asleep. She's like, "Oh, how was the convention?" They snuggle, but you can read the guilt on his face. Like
well, I mean, hence the plot of the movie. You know, I mean, it, and such is the life of a guy who's trying to save the world, and you know, his family has no idea about it. So
yeah, exactly. They think he's a computer salesman. They think he's a big dud. You know, I want to know what his social life is like. I mean, he probably has one. I would imagine he has one. I mean, probably hangs out with Gib a lot since they both allegedly work for this company.
Yeah, probably that guy that, you know, "Hey, you want to have some steaks and beer on Sundays?" "Yeah, sure, man." And so that's what they do.
Yeah, like they don't have him. Like he doesn't invite people over. He'll go when someone has a barbecue. Like he'll show up for that.
Exactly. Yeah.
But he probably won't bring Helen
or his daughter.
Or his daughter.
He'll just leave him
sucks,
at home.
Man, I'm sorry. I like Elijah Dushku a lot as an actress, but just the character itself, like I don't like Dana at all. Like I'm like, she's just a bitchy teenage daughter.
Seriously,
character.
She has no importance of gratitude, of positivity. I feel no empathy at all.
Yeah,
for Dana.
We're not around her very much.
We're not around her at all.
Like we don't really. And when she's kidnapped later on, spoiler alert, we don't really feel all that much because we haven't really been invested in her. I don't think. Right. It's more like for Harry and for Helen. Like we're really on board with them. We're like, yeah, we're with you, even though your daughter's shitty. You know, we're with you to save her. So Dana played by Elijah Dushku. He gives her the snow globe from Switzerland. She's like, oh, thanks. And he leaves, and she's got this little dog. I'm not sure what kind of dog this is, but it's Gizmo is its name. Almost miss it. And she shows the dog the snow globe and says, so lame.
Okay. All right.
Right in the trash, man. But I think this is important to mention. So in January 2018, Elijah Dushku revealed that when she was 12 years old, making this movie, which I thought she was older than that, but so she was 12 years old, that she was sexually molested by the film's 36-year-old stunt coordinator, Joel Kramer. And she detailed how he groomed her for several months to gain her friendship and her parents' trust. He contrived to spend an evening along with her, then molested her. And she said that after an adult friend confronted him on the set about the abuse, she was injured during a stunt. And she alleges that this was no small coincidence. She says, to be clear, over the course of those months rehearsing and filming True Lies, it was Joel Kramer who was responsible for my safety on a film that at the time broke new ground for action films. On a daily basis, he rigged wires and harnesses on my 12-year-old body. My life was literally in his hands. He hung me in the open air from a tower crane atop an office tower, 25 plus stories high. Whereas he was supposed to be my protector, he was my abuser. And after her statement, Dushku's co-stars, Schwarzenegger, Jamie Lee Curtis, Tom Arnold, James Cameron, all tweeted their respect and admiration for her bravery.
You know, and stuff like that needs to be said more because we watch these movies, but that's only like what 1%, 2% of what really goes on during these films while they're being produced. Because you have so many retakes and everything that they train for to do this stuff, and the people that are responsible for that training. Man, that's tough.
Oh,
it really is.
It just goes to show you that they don't have to be a big star to make a move on you or to molest you in some way. Like, I mean, we've certainly seen movie moguls, like Harvey Weinstein go down, big titans completely, taken down, and rightfully so. But, or Spacey and those allegations, I mean, there's just like it happens, like you said, so much more often than we know. And it can happen just as easily behind the scenes with people who want you to trust them, and you probably shouldn't. So,
yeah. Well, and what's even worse is when big name actors can get away with something just like that because they have money,
right?
And they just pay it off. That's when it gets crazy. Yeah,
like those people, like they have a lot of protection, and they can afford a lot of protection. The best protection, the best protection.
Classic.
Yeah, Helen, played by Jamie Lee Curtis, she's getting ready, and Harry is talking about his computer convention, and while he's in the bathroom, just boring guy, right? Like,
yeah. Come on.
It's like, I just love the computer business. She's like,
I'm all about the computers.
Yeah. And she's just like, hey, the plumber is got to do some work. It's going to cost $600. And he's like, oh, that's okay. And she says, I said I'd sleep with him if he knocked off $100. And he's just like, oh, that's great. Mwah, kisses her on the cheek and walks out. Just completely.
Hey, darling, I just learned how to type last year.
It's hard to really measure what their relationship is like. I mean, they seem to be a happily married couple, but clearly she feels neglected. And in this moment, like, he doesn't even kiss her. Well, one, he wasn't listening to her. Then he doesn't kiss her on the mouth. He just kissed her on the cheek and the left.
Right.
And then she does this little kiss for herself. I love that.
Yeah. I mean, I'd say it's a little fake. Like, come on, you guys can be better. But
then Gib pops in to the Tasker home. I love this so much now. This might be my favorite line in the movie now as an adult. He says to Dana, because she's got this motorcycle helmet on, he says, boy, I remember the first time I got shot out of a cannon. Oh my God. I don't know why, but it's so random. Like it comes out of nowhere. It's just so good. And he's showing Harry these, he's got these sunglasses that have a little video monitor inside, a little screen, and a cigarette pack with a video camera in it. And so he's showing him this little gadget. And then while he's looking at it, Harry sees Dana stealing money. He doesn't quite catch her. He's very concerned about this. He's like, oh, Dana knows better. She shouldn't be stealing. Stealing is bad.
And stealing not good. Stealing bad. Why the fuck?
I know. It's I don't know. It's a great line. And
That's
Tom
awesome.
Arnold really helps that line out a lot too, because
For sure.
just his delivery, because it just fits him so well, like his character. This is something his character would say.
Oh my gosh.
And so they arrive at work. It's just this generic office building. It's nice. Gibb tells Harry that she's probably stealing to pay for an abortion or drugs. That's very comforting. They go into the secret entrance, this big white hall. It's very Men in Black kind of thing. There's this live x-ray. There's this woman, Janice, at the reception desk. So she's looking at their innards. And it's like, good morning, Janice. And so the door opens. They come in, and they have to identify themselves at the scanner. All good. But I like that Janice, like, if you look, she's got her hand on the gun underneath the desk.
Ooh.
And she's got it pointed at them.
Yeah, that's. Oh. Yeah,
just in case it's not them.
Right.
Which, I don't know. I think it's
makes
probably a little
sense.
overkill, but.
I mean, I guess that makes sense. Like top security. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, they are a secret government agent. So.
Exactly.
Agency, rather.
I mean, facial recognition, like, DNA scanning. Come on.
Yeah.
But
You got the fingerprints, voice authentication.
Got everything.
Everything. All the bells and whistles. On where they walk into the Omega sector, this secret government agency in this generic computer company business.
I do have to admit, though, out of all the names, the Omega sector.
The Omega sector.
I don't feel chills. I tried to feel chill. Like I tried to force my body to feel chills, but it wasn't there. It wasn't producing the chills. What
name would give you chills?
See,
it's not sexy.
It's not sexy.
Yeah.
It has to be sexy.
It just sounds like a 70s movie. The Omega sector.
The Omega, exactly.
Something out in space, like something on Star Trek. We're Stardate, whatever. We're off into the Omega sector, for the day. Yeah, I know what you mean. That doesn't have a sexy name.
No. Okay. All right, here we go. Omnicom. No, Omnicom. That sounds stupid as shit. Hold on.
Like, why couldn't they be like the Skulls or something like that?
Yeah, the Skulls. Yeah, exactly.
Manoa Shitty Rich Fraternity stole that one. Sorry. Go ahead.
The Obsidian Order.
The Obsidian Order. It's very Sith-like.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right down my alley, Brandon.
There you go.
Or section 31. Just a random ass number. Throw it in there. It's fine.
Yeah, it works.
Starfleet intelligence.
So,
the Chinese secret police. I'm sorry. Anyways,
so Harry it's Harry and Gibb and Faisal and their boss Nick Fury. I mean, Spencer Trilby is played by Charlton Heston.
I almost made the same mistake. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Well, I mean, his appearance and his traits are based on Nick Fury. And like Fury, Trilby has an eye patch, same mannerisms, and heads up a peacekeeping organization. And at one point, Cameron wanted to be a comic book penciler and does a lot of his own concept art. And he even designed the entire T-800 endoskeleton for Terminator. And so this guy has comic book stuff in his DNA. There's a briefing on this bad dude financing terrorist activity. 4 Murph warheads were smuggled out of Kazakhstan. And so they're reporting on that. And Spencer Trilby, the great Charlton Heston, says, "This is not blowing my skirt up, gentlemen."
All right, sir. I'm sorry, sir.
That is a great line. I used to use that all the time. All the time. Any chance I had, I would say, "This is not blowing my skirt up."
I need to say that more often.
You should. I got some really good looks.
Damn, it's the Southern phrases, guys. I mean, this is definitely going to be one of them now. This is not blowing up my skirt.
Yeah.
Or this is not making my socks go up and down. Something like that. It's, it's.
We'll work on it.
We're working on it.
Yeah. So whoever she's talking to, she says, it's not like he's saving the world or anything.
Right.
He acts like he's carrying cancer or something, and. Helen thinks Harry's boring, but in an endearing sort of way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know he's boring, but I love him kind of thing.
He's my hubby.
Yeah. And playing the role well, as the attentive housewife. So Harry, Faisal, and Gibb, they say that Skinner is involved, Juno Skinner, and should check up on her. Or Gibb asks Faisal, care to tango? Yes, I would. Then they just lock up. start dancing. And Harry's like, assholes.
I'll tangle with you any day.
It's great. Wow, we're 23 minutes into this movie. 23 minutes and 50 seconds. But anyway, so Harry goes to Juno's local offices in D.C. and a little flirty, the two of them, says he's looking for a dramatic piece for the lobby of a new corporate headquarters. These large Assyrian sculptures. I mean, it looks like a goddamn museum that they're in. This isn't an office. This is like this massive space with these massive sculptures. And this worker notices them and he's interested in them. As Harry is looking at one of the pieces, she's like, "You see anything you like?" Maybe. I don't know. That's how there's something about the way he delivers that line. It's kind of flirty.
Yeah.
But it's
I
also,
thought it was.
Yeah. It's flirty, but it's also ambiguous. Like it's not really clear if he's flirting or not. I don't know. It seemed like he's being a little mysterious. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. So Harry, Gibb, and Faisal, they're making sure their hotel isn't bugged. Juno, by the way, so after they've left her, she's on the phone. There's a woman in her office, and that worker that noticed him earlier, he comes in and asks to speak with Miss Skinner, and that person goes out, and he just goes up to Juno and slaps her and calls her a bitch in Arabic. And I don't know, that's not funny. We shouldn't have laughed.
We shouldn't have. I'm sorry.
We shouldn't have laughed.
I'm sorry.
But it was kind of funny because you think he's just this low station person, in this warehouse, and he's the top dog, Tia Carrere named this as her favorite role of all time because she got to be a villain. So she's in bed with the bad guys. So yeah, like I said, this worker is the mastermind. This is played by Art Malik, and he had been out of work for 14 months and owed Inland Revenue, the UK equivalent of the IRS here, owed them over $30,000 when he got this part. And Cameron remembered him from City of Joy and offered him the role without question. So It was a really good time for him to get this job. And so he's playing Salima Abu Aziz. So he's the head cheese. And I'd seen Art Malik in a movie about the first terrorist attack on the Twin Towers in the early 90s, I think. Wow, there's another Twin Towers connection there.
Gosh.
It all goes back to 9/11.
Oh, man.
So let's hear what he has to say about working on True Lies.
Aziz is a terrorist in what I believe to be the true sense of the word. In other words, somebody who has absolutely nothing left to lose but everything to gain by an act of terrorism. I don't like this term, the bad guy. I'm actually, I just think I'm misunderstood. And with an action movie, you're so specific because you're talking about tempo, you're talking about the structure of a scene, the structure of the whole film. Everything is geared towards some kind of, tempo of the film. And that's what working with Jim is like. He's very specific, and it's great. The thing that intrigued me about the script was the fact that it had this balance, and I thought it was great. I laughed when I read it, and I thought, yeah, this is going to be fun.
Yeah, so Juno says Harry checked out. Aziz isn't having it. He tells her, find out who this Rehnquist guy is. This is kind of cool. There's a scene where Helen calls Harry at work, and the call is rerouted. So she calls to the computer company, and it's like, oh, sure, hold on, Mrs. Tasker. And it's like, pushes some buttons, it's like, relay 11104. She's like, that's really, I don't know. It was kind of cool. So anyway, the call is rerouted. Cool. Wants to make sure that he'll be home by 8 o'clock for his birthday party dinner. I probably should have said birthday dinner party.
It's a
birthday
dinner party dinner party of a dinner of a party
birthday
dinner party dinner dinny pity. It's a dinny pity. Birthday dinny pity.
Oh, let's see.
Dinny pity titty.
Are you high?
I'm trying to be. I am naturally getting myself high without getting high.
Getting high on life.
I'm getting high on life. Hey! Cool.
So later that evening, Harry and Gib are being followed by the station wagon, and they notice, they decide not to lose the tail. They radio Faisal, says, hey, meet us at the mall. So they park, Harry takes the glasses and the cigarette pack with the camera in it. Takes that with him. I don't really understand what happens here, but it's funny. Where Gibb says, "Dickhead," and Harry's like, "Blow me."
That's what she said.
What?
I had to.
I don't. I don't even know what sparked that. Was there a comment or something? I to this day I don't know.
It was merely just because it was the whole sequence of events that was transpiring here. This movie has so many random quotes.
Yeah.
Blow me was literally just one of the many random quotes. He just said blow me, like blow me.
Blow me.
Okay, dude.
You know, that used to be like a big insult back in the day. Yeah, blow me.
Blow me?
Yeah.
Wow. I wonder what would people, like, anybody's reaction when you just said that, like, to anybody now. Blow me.
I mean, I think it's evolved into being more playful, you know, Bob, blow me. You know,
yeah.
But nobody really uses it. I don't know. Maybe it's just
The Office ruined it.
The Office ruined it.
Blame it on The Office.
Yeah. So Harry makes sure that he's followed. Aziz is in the car. He's in the back seat watching. So two goons come after Harry. Gibb is watching this from the van. Aziz stays in the car. And in the sunglasses, Arnold looks very Terminator-ish here. He does.
Yeah, he does.
Very similar looking sunglasses from the first movie. But anyway, so Gibb calls Helen and says, "Hey, Harry forgot something back at the office." And, well, you know, Harry. And so they're expecting him for this birthday party, but going to be a little late. Harry goes into the men's room and he uses the cigarette pack camera to watch his back while he's taking a piss. And I like that there's just this old dude taking a shit.
Okay, yeah, I love this shot. I absolutely died. Like I said, guys, so much random shit in this movie.
Yeah.
They shout out to geriatrics. And just I'm like
I mean, it really is. It's potty humor.
It's potty humor,
it's if that guy wasn't there, this would be just straight action. But just cutting back and forth between the action.
We need old people in movies.
Yeah, we need old people with their pants around their ankles.
yeah.
Holding a newspaper.
Gotta
have the newspaper. Back in the van, Gibb lost Aziz. He's not in the car, so he's on his way in with a fucking AK-47 into this mall. God, see, you just can't do that.
I mean, this next whole sequence of events is about to get really crazy.
Yeah. So Aziz is coming. Harry he takes this one thug's head and plunges it into the urinal. Right? It's a urinal. Yeah. He's like, "Here, cool off." It's great. It's another one of those great little one-liners, those little zingers.
Cool off.
Yeah. There's something about how he says it. It just sounds very sincere.
It does, but it also sounds sarcastic as fuck. But it does, sincere.
God. So Aziz and his AK are blasting the bathroom to bits. And so he's looking for Harry where he's hiding. He kicks the stall doors open. But Harry goes after him. This is a really cool action sequence. It's really well choreographed.
Yeah.
Aziz is on the run. He runs out. And Harry apologizes to the shitter guy. Sorry. He says that more than anything else in this movie. Is sorry. I mean, look what happens next. So Gibb he goes after Aziz and Aziz shoots back at him, but Gibb is hiding behind this light post and somehow manages to not get shot. And so he checks his balls, like everything's there. He's all good.
That's the first thing I'm checking.
Yeah.
I can see bullets flying.
I don't need arms or legs.
I
don't need appendages.
Balls.
So Harry goes after Aziz on foot. Gibbs in the car. Aziz steals a motorcycle. Harry steals a Central Park police horse. Sorry. So Harry's horse was really played by 4 different horses because they all had different skills. And Schwarzenegger did a lot of his own horseback riding, and he said he couldn't have done it without his riding experience on the Conan movies.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
That actually makes sense. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Stunts here.
Oh, wow.
I did it, yeah.
I wasn't even looking at the notes before I said
stunts here. So he radios Gibb, and he says, we're going to this top of this hotel, and hurry, my horse is getting tired. Aziz takes a motorcycle into the hotel, this Marriott. Harry follows in on horseback. No one on horseback in a church this time, like A Knight's Tale. You know, we got the motorcycle, a horse, and Harry's just so polite. He's like, excuse me. He crashes this party. Anyway, Aziz gets a hostage in the elevator, and Harry is on horseback in the other elevator. And I like that he tells this old couple, like, you know, press the button for the top floor, please.
Press the button on the top floor, please.
Yeah. And the husband's like trying to make conversations. That's a fine animal. And his tail is whipping the woman in the face. And I like this pair of eyes shots on them, on Harry and Aziz. It's like Harry's giving him this, I'm going to get you, bitch. Look, you know. And Aziz looks spooked. Like he's like, he might get me. It's a good shot. And Aziz, he drives the bike off the top of this hotel. He lands in a pool at a further away hotel.
Oh, yeah, I think it is a hotel, actually.
Harry tries to follow, and the horse gets spooked. And Harry goes over the side, just holding on to the reins, and he's telling the horse, back up.
It's on the horse's terms.
Yeah. The horse is like, I don't know, man. What is it you want me to do? What are you doing down there? And so the horse decides he will back up. And somehow they manage to see each other from this extremely long distance. He sees Aziz and just has that look like it's on. Like it's, a vendetta now.
Bring it.
And he talks to the horse. What the hell were you thinking? It's like, you let him get away. What kind of a cop are you anyway?
The basic law enforcement training for horses. All horses go through BLET, guys.
There's no way. Harry was going to catapult his horse over the side of that building. Yeah. He would have not made it.
Natural kamikazes.
Aziz was on a motorcycle. Like he got some distance, but he backed up for that. Full speed. Ridiculous. Not the horse. Horse going to die, man. Harry, you're going to die too.
A horse going to die.
So Harry arrives home. Helen's asleep at the dinner table. She wakes up. It's really late. I think the clock said it's almost midnight. He apologizes, of course, like he does, and all is okay. Looking at the mug shots back at the Omega sector, we find Aziz, Salim Abu Aziz. Harry's like, yep, that's him. They're in the conference room. So we learn that Aziz is a big bomber. He runs this splinter cell called Crimson Jihad, which is a cool name, and people call him the Sand Spider. And I love that Spencer Trilby asked why. Faisal just says, probably because it sounds scary.
If I had to give an example and a cause of a name like that, it sounds scary. Brandon, it's scary.
Probably because it sounds scary. I just like that it's a very, it's a very simple thing. Like it's probably just an intimidating name. But he like tries to say it in a very cautious sort of way to his boss.
It sounds scary.
Yeah, it sounds scary. So Harry and Gib are in the car, and Harry goes to see Helen and ask her if she wants to have lunch. He still kind of feels bad about missing dinner last night. And as he's walking up to her cubicle, she doesn't see him yet, but she gets a call from a mystery man named Simon. And so Harry decides to listen in, and her coworker is in on it too. She says, yeah, she can meet, can't wait. Asks her coworker, can you cover for me for an hour? And Harry looks aghast, and his coworker is like, get a little something for me while you're at it. and she leaves.
This should have been a State Farm commercial. Yeah.
Like a good neighbor. No, man.
What are you wearing, Jake?
Khakis. I did use a line. All right, this is a digression here, but a little side story. So many years ago, or maybe, 3 or 4 years ago, I was teaching a class, scientific writing, and I was going on a date that weekend. And so I asked my students, this wasn't your class. No, it wasn't your class. But I asked the students what something fun I could do in the Raleigh area. And this was around Halloween. And this female student said, girls really like to go on hay rides. And I said, well, it's a guy, so.
What's her reaction?
Her mouth just hung open. She was like, guys like hay rides too, Yeah, it's a guy, so.
It's guys.
Yeah, and I thought I'll never figure out a way to use that in conversation, but it worked. I got it in the line from the State Farm commercial.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so anyway, Harry is walking back to the car. He's in the middle of the street. Cars are honking at him, this bus trying to get by. And Giv takes Harry by the arm and pulls him away. He yells at the bus driver. He's just like, fucker.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry, but I'm 30.
Great.
I'm almost 35, but I still think curse words are funny.
They are.
So he's trying to tell Gib what's going on. He's like, Helen, yeah, it's got something to do with Helen. Yeah, Helen is having an affair.
He's having an affair.
He's having an affair. I tried to phonetically write it out to get it AFAU or YUH.
I mean, it's hard. It creates a lot of talent when you can talk like him. Like if you can talk like Arnold, then you're doing something right in life.
Pretty much everybody can do an Arnold impression, not very well. Like I can't, I can do some impressions pretty well, but I can't do Arnold. But there's a guy on YouTube. I'll have to find this and share this with you. This guy is a sound-alike, pitch perfect. I mean,
are you serious?
Sound-alike, yeah. I mean, it's absolutely uncanny. I'll find it and send it to you.
Oh my gosh, yes.
But yeah, Gib's like, oh, welcome to the club, man. But so when Harry tells Gib Helen's having an affair, Gib tells the story about his second wife taking everything when she left, even the ice cube trays from the freezer. And this is a direct reference to Tom Arnold's divorce from Roseanne Barr that was happening at the same time. She was reported to have taken his ice cube trays when she left him as well. And he told the story to James Cameron on the set while saying, what kind of a sick bitch takes the ice cube trays out of the freezer? And Cameron thought this was hilarious and, it made its way into the film.
That is awesome. Oh my gosh.
I've loved that line since the first time I saw this movie. What kind of just it's really in the delivery. Just Tom Arnold's character, Gib, is just so great. What kind of a sick bitch takes the ice cube trays out of the freezer? Like, can you believe that, my man? Am I right, my man? Nudge, nudge. Woo! So Gib
stuff, man.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Oh yeah. Gib says she just wants to bang this guy for a while. And he doesn't like that.
That's what we all say. That's what we all say, man. I just want to bang this guy.
Just want to bang this guy for a while. I don't know, man. Relationships now are just there's so many different varieties now.
It's like an onion. There's so many layers of variety in a relationship nowadays.
Oh yeah.
It's I don't know how I feel about it. I wish there were only maybe 4 or 5 4 or 5 different types,
like different types of relationships, like different configurations of the relationship. I don't know, it's just
too much. Like one of my friends right now, he came to me the other day, 2 days ago, and he says, Joseph, I'm in this conflict. I'm like, what's the conflict? Well, I can't decide between these two girls. I'm like, oh God, here we go. And then he's like, sorry. Oh well, one of them I just totally hooked up. She's great, and this other one, I mean, she just doesn't want to do it. But we're talking, and that's pretty much it. I don't really want to go long term with this, and she does, so I don't really want to know like what her thing is. But this other girl, like, we totally hooked up, but she doesn't want to do anything else. So I'm like, dude, you fucker. Like,
you fucker.
Like, get over yourself. Yeah. So there are.
Yeah. But so Gib says, she just wants to bang this guy for a while. And Harry gets pissed off, and Gibbs is like, well, what did you expect, Harry? She's a flesh and blood woman, and you're never there. It's just a matter of time. And he knows it. Like he hasn't been there. He's neglected her, and he's always gone. And it's almost like it never even occurred to him that it could happen. But she's tempted. Gibbs like, let's just focus on our work. And, we're going to find some bad guys. We're going to beat the crap out of them. You're going to feel a hell of a lot better. I like when they get it before they take off. He's like, women can't live with them, can't kill them. I don't know why. It still gets me. Everything he says is gold. It's great. So we have dinner at the Tasker house. Harry's a little tense.
Yeah.
I says he stopped by. I want to know if you wanted to have lunch today. Helen makes up this long-winded bullshit story. And
it was fantastic.
Yeah, this is a great shot because it's just the slow zoom on Harry's face while she's lying her ass off. She's like, I had to go out and I had to do this and I had a terrible time and this is what I did. Like when they go away, when she and Dana go away to get dessert or something, like the look on his face, he's like, what the fuck is going on? Like she must be really having an affair. So Harry and Gibbs are at work. Harry's distracted, and he tells Gib, that he wants to tap Helen's phone. He tries to be the voice of reason. He's like, that is absolutely crazy. You can't use our resources to follow your wife. And he's just like, we do it 20 times a day. Do it. Do it now.
Do it now.
Do it now. Now.
Now.
Get to the chopper. Oh, God.
That was great. The chopper.
And so he's reading these transcripts of a conversation between Helen and Simon. He's like, Simon, is it safe to talk? Must see you, same place. And remember, I need you. And Harry crumbles that shit up, tosses it.
Yeah.
Harry's at home. Helen is on the stationary bike. She's getting a little workout in. And Harry, you can just see it on his face that
he's about to wreck some shit.
Yeah, he's like, he's going to see if you'd like to have lunch tomorrow. And she gives this excuse. And it's like, oh, okay, whatever. So he takes her purse and he tosses out the window. Gib is out there waiting for him in the rain. And moments later, Harry goes to the van. He's dragging that little dog through the rain. It's great. It's just yipping. Gib gives him back the purse. I've got these trackers sewn in here. Got this microphone is in the lining of the purse. And so Harry takes it back. And so now they're following Helen. She's going into Chinatown. Harry and Gib are listening. And she's at this Chinese restaurant. We meet Simon, finally, the mysterious Simon, played by the wonderful, wonderful late Bill Paxton. And he makes like he's a spy. And we think he is. He's trying to be all suave. And, if I get a signal, I may have to leave suddenly. And just like the waiter comes crashing through with a cart and he like jumps. Like he's got to pull a gun out of his jacket. The boys back in the car, they're like, the guy's a spook. He might be working her to get to you, to Harry, And Simon takes credit for Harry's chase mentioned in the paper. And
oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's great. It's like,
that's awesome.
Like the guy's a fake. Like he's taking credit for our moves. Gibbs says, I'm starting to like this guy. And then he looks at Harry and Harry's not having it. He's not smiling. He's, we still got to kill him. That's a given. And so we get Simon, More Than a Woman by the Great Old Bee Gees is playing. And the boy's rolling up too, and it's a car lot. The guy's a goddamn used car salesman. It's like this just gets better and better. like even that line and delivery, like I love that so much.
It's smooth.
Yeah, the guy is a goddamn used car salesman. Gib is having a great time. And Harry is spying on him with the binoculars, and the lens cracks like he's gripping it so tight. And Simon comes out because Harry is looking at this convertible or this Corvette, and Simon's like, "Oh, it wants you too. I'll take it for a little spin." So off they go. And you know what? I'm just gonna put the whole fucking scene in.
Let's do it.
It's 2.5 minutes.
It's so worth it, though.
It is worth it. You'll like it.
See, it's not just a car, it's a total image. An identity you have to go for. This isn't some high-tech sports car. Tell you the truth, it doesn't even handle that great. But that's not the idea, is it? What are we talking about here? Pussy, right?
Absolutely.
Let's face it, Harry. The vet gets him wet. But it's not enough. If you really want to close escrow, well, you gotta have an angle.
Suppose you have an angle.
It's killer. I mean, look at me. I'm not that much to look at. No, I can be honest. But I got them lining up. And not just the skanks either. Well, some are.
So what's the angle?
Oh, no. Sorry. Trade secret. Okay. Just ask yourself, what do women really want? You take these bored housewives married to the same guy for years, they're stuck in a rut. They need some release. Promise of adventure, a hint of danger. I create that for them.
So basically you're lying your ass off the whole time. You see, I couldn't do that.
What are you, a Boy Scout? No. Think of it as playing a role with fantasy. I mean, you gotta work on their dreams. Get them out of their daily suburban grind for a few hours.
And what about their husbands?
Dickless. I mean, let's face it, if they took care of business, I'd be out of business, you know what I mean?
Those idiots.
Hey, you mind keeping it under 90? I'm still trying to pay for this dental work.
So, who are you working on right now?
I always got a couple on the hook, you know. There's this one right now. I got her pinned like a dog. It's great.
What does she do?
Some sort of legal secretary or something. You know, uptight and conservative. Oh, but she can be so hot if she wanted to be.
And with you, she gets to be real hot, huh?
Red hot.
Yeah.
Her thighs steam. It's like a dying plant just needs a little water. Married to some boring jerk.
Married to some boring jerk.
Yeah, you know he doesn't appreciate her. She's like all these babes. You get their pilot lit, they can start a leaf blower. Oh, God, she's got the most incredible body. And a pair of titties make you want to stand up and beg for buttermilk. Ass like a 10-year-old boy.
Just getting at this, like Simon's angle, like, what do women really want? They need some adventure, a hint of danger, and that's what he provides for them. But, I got to talk about this. I'm sorry. But whenever he's talking about everything about the scene I love, and he's like, the truth is, talking about the car, it doesn't even handle that great. But what we're really talking about here, pussy, right? Absolutely. Let's face it, Harry, the vet gets him wet. But when when they're on their way back and he's talking about this woman he's working on now, which is it's Helen, but
right.
It's like, I got her panting like a dog. It's great. So he says, once you get the pilot lit, they could start a leaf blower. A pair of titties makes you want to stand up and beg for buttermilk. Ass like a 10-year-old boy. That last line, ass like a 10-year-old boy. It's like, wait, what?
Why can't it be? Why can't it be 9, 8? Let's go all the way down to 2 years old.
Why does it have to be a little boy? I don't understand.
What about an 86-year-old grandpa? I mean, what's the dude?
And even that line, like, she's got a pair of titties that makes you want to stand up and beg for buttermilk.
Beg for buttermilk.
I don't understand that either, but I think it's funny. I think it's hilarious.
It's like crack cocaine.
Because even when they're at the little hot dog stand and Harry's like, well, what about their husbands? He's like, dickless, because if they did their business, I'd be out of business. You know what I'm saying? He's like, ho, 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 those idiots.
These idiots.
Those idiots. But I love that fantasy punch. Like when he just backfists him in the face and it's just a fantasy. They get back to the dealership and Harry's doing these stunt driver moves and he wheels the thing into the lot. Simon's impressed. He's like, oh, you two are made for each other. Why fight it? Sure, I got some other buyers on the line, but I like your style. He said, let me think about it. Hold it for me for a day, okay? Simon looks a little apprehensive. He's, hey, because it's you. He's not a good salesman, but you can tell he really thinks he is.
He tries. Yeah. He tries.
Yeah. And here's a little clip of Bill Paxton on working with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
He was always hugging and kissing me in this one car scene, and it was a little intimidating because, he's a big guy and stuff, and I guess, he's from Austria, and they're just kind of very affectionate over there. And kept telling me how I reminded him of somebody he'd known growing up. No, I'm just kidding. No, Arnold was great. I've known him for many years, but I've had these kind of, I've almost acted with him in several films. We did do a little scene at the beginning of Terminator. A lot of people, I played the kind of leader of this punk gang that confronts him, and he wants our clothes at the beginning. But this was the first movie where we really had real scenes, and we spent a lot of time together, and it was a lot of fun. He's an actor who's not intimidated by other actors. He wants you to be as good as you can be in the scene. He realizes the value that it's a team effort, and he's only as good as everybody around him. So he's very supportive, and he's very relaxed, especially with James Cameron. But yeah, we had a lot of fun. We smoked a lot of cigars. I spent most of my time with Arnold in an open car driving around Washington D.C. We shot a scene at a hot dog stand, and God, within about 20 minutes, it was pretty tough to film there because there were so many crowds. It really was.
No, he's bigger than life.
Amazing. We were going through some very poor neighborhoods of Washington, D.C., and everybody was yelling, Arnold, Arnold, and they're yelling his lines from the movie, and it was
amazing.
Later, Harry and Gibb are in the car, and Harry notices that one of the transcript pages are missing. So he pulls over. Gibb has held back a few pages. So Harry's reading those, and Simon is saying, I need your help. Meet me under the Key Bridge, talking to Helen. And Harry and Gibb, they roll. But they realize Helen has left the purse at the house with the tracking device. But they know where she's going, the Key Bridge. Gibb tells him, like, we can't pull agents off of priority surveillance to follow your wife. And he said, what are you going to do, tell? For God's sakes, Harry, your wife's banging a used car salesman. Take it like a man. but he blackmails him.
Just that whole thing, like,
oh
your
yeah,
wife's being banged by a used car salesman.
yeah. I know. Pretending to be a spy is so great.
But yeah.
But Harry blackmails Gibb. He says, you telling me, I tell on you. I guess he blew some operation because he was getting a blowjob or something.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it was.
And so Gibb then quickly gets on board. And so Helen's under the bridge and Simon rolls up. And then the chopper is falling. Keep your head down.
The chopper is falling.
You need to keep your head down until we're out of the city. And that's better. It's so creepy, man. Because he's like forcing her down. Like, so she's laying in his
awkward.
lap. Yeah.
It's so awkward.
It's very awkward. So I don't know. Like, up to this point, you think he's a harmless creep, but I don't know, just stuff like that. Like
I would not want to meet him.
Yeah.
I would just not want to meet him.
He's sleazy.
Yeah.
And
yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Harry speeds up when he hears that her head is in his lap. The other helicopter pilot, this is voiced by James Cameron. He's the pilot who says, yeah, she's got her head in his lap. Yahoo.
Yahoo.
Yahoo. And Gibbs says, maybe she's sleepy.
Gibbs is a total Dwight Schrute, but a professional Dwight Schrute.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's
just great in this role. Like,
awesome.
This is a role that was tailor-made for
specifically
Tom
for him.
Yeah. So Simon tells Helen that they're going to be at a safe house, which is just his mobile home. The house in the city isn't safe, as is the penthouse in New York or whatever. Can't trust anyone. So so they cheers with plastic goblets, and he says, "Be my wife for this operation in Paris, with a stopover in London. I can't trust anyone but you. Can you get away for a few days?" And outside, the agents are gearing up, and Harry and Gibb included. They're getting masks and everything. I don't know. What do you make of this proposal of his, asking this married woman, pretend to be my wife for this operation in Paris? We'll stop in London. I need you.
Well, I think we already concluded that he was sleazy.
Yeah.
So that number one calculates everything that's led up to this moment. Number two, this guy's a dirtbag.
He is a dirtbag.
I mean, okay, hold on. Just think about this, right? If I want a safe house, I need it to be concrete, in the ground, just very solidified, right? I need it to be confidential, hidden away, not some damn mobile home. I mean, I'm sorry. I don't want to cause offense to anyone in the mobile. I completely respect you and love you guys, but if it's your safe house, and go change your lifestyle, okay?
I totally am with you there. Like, I mean, I grew up, or at least for the first several years of my life, in a mobile home that it had blue carpet. It was hideous,
right?
But yeah, I mean, first of all, think about all the trouble that Simon is going through to make his cover, or to make his
exactly.
Make it look real. He's already bought the plane tickets, for this trip, so he's shelling out money for this in advance. I guess that's another reason why he needs to sell that Corvette to finance his fake spy operations.
How do you even get the Corvette in the first place? How does he have the money? This guy is pulling some dope.
Well, you make a good point. Like, I don't think it's even his. I mean, he might. I don't know if he runs the place or not, but I think he's just driving it.
He was the janitor
because it was on the lot and he had the keys. Because whenever he first arrives at the lot, like, he puts the price sticker back on the window. It's great.
Gosh,
what
a guy.
Yeah, Helen says, "You know what? I'll do it." He's like, "You just saved my life." And then he does this thing where he's like, "We got to appear comfortable as husband and wife." And so he's seeing what he can get away with, like touching her and kissing on her. And
he's such a sleazebag.
I know. He's like, "It's awkward for me too." Like,
really?
Helen has had enough. Like, she pushes him off. But in that last minute, like, she's like, "Yep, this is too much." And he's trying to get all in that he can. His hands are going everywhere. That's a real dirtbag right there. It's like, okay, there's resistance. What can I get in? What can I do in like 5 seconds? But I like these, like, if not for me, do it for your country. I can't read her face. I can't read like what her reaction is because the lights go out. And then there's sound of a chopper and a spotlight. And so they blow this door off somehow, or they blow the side of the mobile home away somehow.
Simon's dick totally like did it itself.
Yeah, that was it. It was Simon's erection. It was too much. The whole side of the trailer blew away. We got another penis in this episode. Like
exactly. That was my goal.
On our Patreon episode last week. On the ninth tale, we talked about Chaucer writing a story about a talking penis, and we ran with that for a while. They use some kind of explosive charge to rip this door away, and Simon lands on top of Helen. And then there's this great zoom in shot of Harry, like his eyes, like he's wearing this mask, and his eye, just his one eye, is open wide as possible.
Yeah, like as humanly possible.
He is ready to murder. And Helen knees Gib in the balls. She bites Harry, and somehow, I mean, she's feisty. She puts up a fight, but they get her in the van. Simon's like, I love this so much. It's like, take her. Oh God, don't hurt me.
Wow.
Like, he's such a coward. I love it. And Gib,
it's amazing.
So they're in this interrogation room. It's empty. Helen's put in there. There was a big mirror on the wall. Harry and Gib are on the other side. And then we get, your dog. They say it's your dog. And so they ask her these questions. And they say that how long were you with this guy? He's actually Carlos the Jackal. And she's like, oh, I just met him. And then she explains how she met him, but we get it in like a flashback. And Simon spots her in this restaurant. He's looking her over and gives her this briefcase. He acts like he's being chased. And later at work, she picks the lock, and there are maps, passports, cash, plane tickets, and a gun. It's a little airsoft pistol, but she doesn't know that. Just that in itself, like, that's kind of clever.
Yeah, 110%. Just the whole idea and planning and being prepared. Like, I mean, talk about being ready, you know?
Yeah, because he was counting on her curiosity to be strong enough to pick that lock and see what's inside. It's great. And if she didn't, it didn't matter. But anyway, they start asking her, like, whether she was attracted to him. She's like, no, but maybe just a little. And then so Harry asks us, tell us about your husband. And she's like, oh, well, Harry, yeah, he's a computer salesman. I like Gib here because he always interjects. And so sex with him isn't exactly waving your flag anymore. And she says very good things about Harry. And then he jumps back in again, but he's not exactly ringing your bell these days.
He's not making your socks go up and down? What?
She says that she agreed to go with him to Paris. Doesn't know why. Just needed something. And Harry's like, what did you need? And she says, she needed to feel alive. Like she wanted to live her life and make mistakes and be able to look back and say, I did that. That was my fault. And I fucking did it. And it felt good to be needed and to be trusted. Did you sleep with him? No. She's lying.
These are true lies.
Gib covers the mic. I love it. And Helen starts freaking the fuck out. She's like, just let me out of here. She takes this stool and breaks the mirror, breaks the glass. It doesn't completely shatter, but she cracks it
almost.
Good. Yeah. Gib's like, she could be telling the truth. You like how I have this next line in the notes?
Oh my God. Hey, spell it first.
It's CAWM space DOWN space PWEEZ, all in caps.
And then what does that spell, Brandon?
Calm down, please. And so, do you still love your husband? Yes, she does, very much. And Gib's like, now what? And so Harry's got a solution. He's like, Helen, you must work for us. If you do, we'll drop the charges. If you don't participate, we'll destroy your life.
I'll kill you very soon.
Yeah, I'll kill you very soon. It's like, yes, okay. Yeah, we'll be in contact. The name of your contact will be Boris. And your contact name would be Natasha? No, Doris. And she looks confused and a little disappointed. I don't know. I think she felt really happy about making that connection herself.
Because my name is Forrest Gump.
My name is Forrest Gump. Can you imagine if Arnold Schwarzenegger played Forrest Gump?
Dude, that movie... that movie would be on a whole nother level.
All right, so they drop Helen back off at her car, And so they have Simon too. So they have Simon in his undies on the edge of this dam. And he's like, so just let me go. I didn't see your face. Hey, they take their masks off. No, I didn't see it. Oh, it's you. Hey, still interested in that vet at all? I love that in this moment, all I can think about is the car still in that damn car. And gives like, hey, Carlos, game's over. Your career as an international terrorist is well documented. And he's like, no, I just sell cars and I'm not a terrorist. If I ever saw a gun, I know. Oh, God. So they put a gun in his face. And I love that Harry looks back at Gib like, hey, this is getting a good reaction. It's like, I'm not a spy. I'm nothing. I'm naval lint. He said, I have to lie to women to get laid, and I don't score much. I got a little dick. It's pathetic. And they make this ooh face. It's gold, man.
then he pisses. Oh my God. He pisses himself.
Would a spy pee himself, huh? And they just shake their head at each other. It's like, please, I'm not worth a bullet. He's like, just like, get out of here. It's like, no, if I turn back, you're going to shoot me. And they're trying to push him away and he won't go. Gib just takes his sidearm out. He's like, get lost, dipshit. And he just shoots into the ground. They just leave him there. But even that, just everything Gibbs says is great. It's like, get lost, dipshit. So we're back having dinner with the Taskers. Dana is catching grapes in her mouth.
For some reason.
She's just kind of being annoying with that little dog, that ugly little dog she's got, Gizmo. So Helen is talking about her flat tire on the bridge because, Harry's like, last night must have been very exciting for you. And like her arm is shaking with the coffee pot. Phone rings. It's the distorted voices. Go to the Marquee Hotel. It's Gib in disguise. Say, go to the Marquee Hotel. There'll be an envelope at the front desk marked Doris and dress sexy. Dress sexy. It sounded like Buffalo Bill there.
Yeah.
Go to the Marquee Hotel. There's an envelope marked Doris at the front desk. Dress sexy. Anyway, so they're at the Omega sector, and they have this French guy recording these lines in a booth, and Harry's checking up on it. Helen is at the hotel, and God, this dress she's got on, man. It's hideous. It's a black dress, but it's got all these frilly things. I don't know what you call it.
I wanted to look away, man.
Yeah, it looks bad. And she just looks like she's got this mom look. Like, you know what I mean? Like
not even a soccer mom look, just a mom just rolled up to parent teacher conference, and it was just a bad conference.
Yeah, it is like an overdressed mom at a parent teacher conference because she does try to look elegant, but her hair, I mean, it's very 90s hair and glasses and stuff. She goes to the front desk, gets the envelope, and there's a phone number in there, and there's a little bug. There's a little listening device. So she calls up the number, says it's Doris. I like that she's whispering. And it's like, go to this room. There'll be a man there. He's a suspected arms dealer. And tell him that his regular girl is sick, but you don't have to sleep with him. He just likes to watch. And you got to plant the bug under the table by the bed or the deal's off. Gil hangs up the phone. He's like, I'm going to go to hell. Before we get on to the next scene, let's hear from Jordan Schmidt and his notes from the tall guy. And we'll be back right after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
From the deep, dark recesses of suburban New Jersey, this is Notes from the Tall Guy. Once again, I'm Jordan Schmidt. No, not that one. Furthering my quest for palatable cinematic content by any means necessary, though preferably the easily accessible kind. Here are my latest findings. In an era where franchise filmmaking is the single most profitable variant of filmmaking, the one franchise that might be doing the best job without a glut of recognition is the Mission Impossible franchise. Ironically, the franchise didn't really feel like one until after it turned from a carousel of auteurs trying too hard to impart their handiwork onto Mission Impossible, people like Brian De Palma, John Woo, and J.J. Abrams, into a steady, focused, continued spy story handled by writers and directors who know how to write spy films. Primarily, I'm referring to Ghost Protocol, the fourth entry from 2011, which I rewatched recently. Thanks to the genius of Brad Bird, it's one of the best ones. The action sequences, including one set at the Burj Khalifa in Dubai, mark some of the more eye-popping ones that the franchise has yet to present. The acting, especially by character actors like Paula Patton and Simon Pegg, is some of the more refined ones so far, despite the presence of one Jeremy Renner. And Brad Bird in his direction actually gave Tom Cruise something nice to do. Hopefully the Macquarie films continue the franchise's gradual upswing in the next couple of years. Brian De Palma's habit of aping Alfred Hitchcock may not be the worst thing in the world. Both are great directors, after all. De Palma's suspense work ranks right up there with the big man himself. Blowout, being anywhere near the Rear Window thematically, doesn't take away from Blowout's strength as a suspense film, having seen that one recently as well. There's so much greatness in this film, right down to John Travolta's underrated performance as a suspense lead, John Lithgow's rated performance as a creepy dude, he plays a lot of those, and De Palma's genius decision to record scenes set in Philadelphia. Reading Terminal Market looks great in this, despite the presence of some clear Chicago accents, talking to you, Dennis Franz, and some other filmmaking-y kind of things. Still a great movie, probably his best suspense Hitchcock-y effort. Jonathan Glazer's work is not for me. I saw Under the Skin for the first time, and I repeat, Jonathan Glazer's work is not for me. This week's hidden gem is Carl Reiner's Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid, a forgotten parody from 1983, from the man who worked with Mel Brooks so much that I'm surprised he didn't do more films like this. This movie not only reminded me how masterful Steve Martin is as a comedic lead, but how clever he can be, especially in interacting with archived footage from 40s film noir films and making it seem thematically seamless. A very fun concept, though it occasionally wore out its welcome. It's not currently on any streaming services, but you can do what I did and get a monster kid to give you his DVD copy of it. And what got me out of the house this month was Birds of Prey, or the inexplicably elongated title of Harley Quinn drinking her juice, coming down a mountain, and stopping worrying about loving the bomb. Right. Fun movie. Presence of a female writer, director, and star definitely showed, as there was no needless sexualization or misogyny, and a lot of great character work from Margot Robbie, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, and surprisingly Rosie Perez. Go her! Ewan McGregor played a great over-the-top villain who was in no way supposed to be Sam Rockwell originally. The fun, demented procession of events in Act 3 distracted me from the narrative flaws of the first two. This film was a hoot and a half, deserved more than its saddening box office returns, and was the most refreshing DCEU film since, well, Shazam, but still. Finally, it comforts me that the best movie of 2019 was in fact the Best Picture winner. So, something went right there. That is all I have to report. I've been Jordan Schmidt, I think, and these have been my notes. Until the next time.
All right, so we're back. Helen is checking herself out in the mirror, and she starts tearing away her sleeves and those other lacy parts, like around her collar and stuff. Now it's much shorter, more streamlined. She puts on more lipstick. She takes some water from a plant pot nearby and wets her hair down, smooths it back. And I like that she's testing her sexiness in the mirror, you know?
Yeah.
She's like, she's trying to look seductive and she's moving her body. It's almost like she's never moved it in that way before.
She's trying. Yeah. She's really trying. I mean, it's almost like Harry just doesn't give her reason to be sexy, you know? Like he's
right.
Just this dude who can't give her some type of great sensation. She has to solely do it herself.
Yeah.
It's just so Harry's got to step up his game, man.
He does.
It's crazy.
He does. And he's got quite a game going on here, as we'll find out in a minute.
For sure.
I like that she smiles at herself. This is what she has been wanting. Like this is right. What Simon promised her, and now
since
she's
the beginning.
Since the beginning, right? And so she gets to live dangerously, and I think she is excited. And so she's got the bug, and she goes into the room. She trips on her heels. So before she goes in, she removes her wedding ring, and it takes her a while. I don't know, that says something too. I think like she's never taken a wedding ring off. I don't think.
Yeah, this was a big moment,
Mm-hmm.
and it was very subtle, but it was big, especially for her.
Oh yeah. I mean, she's scared, but she's also kind of turned on by it. I think. And when she gets inside, it's a nice place. It's dimly lit. There's a man seated in the corner in shadow, and it's a French voice. It's like, have some champagne. This is a recording. It's Harry. I mean, he's got this little cassette recorder, and he's using it for playback. So he's got the French voice. He's like, "Oh, come in here." Tells her to undress and to dance. And I like that she starts dancing, but he's like, it's like, not like that. I wish you could just see that. Just look it up. It's such a good scene. It's like, no, dance sexy. And so she gets into it. But one thing I wanted to mention here is that like this outfit, like her wardrobe, like so the bra and panties that she's wearing, this was her own. This was Jamie Lee Curtis's own. And she rehearsed this scene extensively with Jim Cameron, and it was there the fall that she makes in the middle of the dance was conceived. It didn't happen spontaneously during the actual shooting, as is often claimed. Arnold was not told this beforehand, though, and this is hinted at when Harry briefly sits up in alarm, realizes he's breaking character, and then relaxes. They do another take with the same gag, and his reaction wasn't as good. So, yeah, while she's dancing, like she's dancing to this great song called "Alone in the Dark" by John Hyatt. And she's got some moves, man. She's a babe. Like she goes from mom to babe, you know. And she
real quick.
Yeah, she's just really losing herself in this, or really like freeing herself. But there's this moment, where she's kind of swinging on it's like the bedpost.
Yeah,
the really tall ones. I can't think what it's called, but anyway,
there's just so many names for different things.
I know, and there's
my brain can't keep this vocabulary.
Later on, we're gonna find out what a Patterson troke is.
Yeah, apparently. Yeah, thank you. Apparently, I want to ask how many people just random get a survey, get like a 500 people survey, and see how many people understand that word or just even heard that word.
I asked Twitter, and the only person that indicated they had heard it before was Monster Kid Cash, who said that he wanted to be an undertaker when he was younger and had studied up on all the instruments.
Right.
Right. Yeah. So we'll talk about that Patterson trope later. But yeah, so anyway, Helen's swinging and she just falls down and immediately gets back up and doesn't miss a beat. Like she's still back into the dance. But yeah, Harry does sit up like, uh-oh, something wrong. And then she just goes back into it. I don't know, she's like licking the bedpost or something. She's doing this super sexy thing. When she's doing that, when she's licking the bedpost, Harry drops the tape recorder. But Arnold wasn't supposed to do that, but Jim Cameron liked it enough to keep it in. It's like he's that rattled, you know. It's cool. And but this striptease scene, this contributor on IMDb says, drew some criticism for its perceived misogynistic content. Cameron later said that Jamie Lee Curtis had heavy input in how the scene was played out, and she demonstrated it to him beforehand, who remarked that he was reminded there of what is so cool about his job. And he also noted that most of the criticism of the scene came from men, while most of the female viewers praised it as empowering and even liberating for Helen.
That's awesome. That really is awesome.
I saw one of those articles where they go back and revisit a movie, and it was True Lies, and they were talking about how misogynist it was, and how anti-woman it was. But I think that person made a good point, that this becomes a kind of release for Helen, you know, as a character, and is important for her development, because she has been so shut up for so long.
I'm one that firmly believes if you don't have a lot of something in a movie, then you center it and bring it towards one center point and explode it in that center point, then it makes an even bigger impact than if it was like throughout the entire film. Mm-hmm. So, you know, in this instance of feminism and True Lies, you know, I definitely believe that when they wanted to emphasize feminism in this movie, they did a beautiful job just by centering it on this one particular moment. And this was it. And they did a great job doing that.
Yeah, I mean, it's her self-discovery or rediscovery, even. You know, it does get a lot of unfair flack for that, or for that scene. But I think even, you know, when we were talking about background and context, like she got top billing with Arnold.
Yeah.
You know, it was a team thing. I don't think she's done dirty as a character, as a woman in this movie.
Not like Simon. That's for sure.
God. Not like Simon, the dirtbag.
the dirtbag who can blow down walls with his dick.
Oh my God. that was really
what
good.
A guy.
What a guy. So yeah, so she's getting into it. Harry's into it until he tells her to lie down on the bed twice.
Twice.
He says, "Now lie down on the bed and close your eyes." And she says, "But I thought you would like to watch." And so Harry has to go. He goes to the cassette and he rewinds it a little bit. It's play. "Now lie on the bed and close your eyes." You know, same intonation and everything. She's visibly nervous. She's got her eyes closed, but he's like caressing her. You know, he's tracing her body with this rose, and he starts kissing her. He can't really stop himself. And I think maybe he doesn't realize in the moment that he hasn't really prepared her for what's about to happen. And so they're kissing and she's fumbling for the phone, and it's big ass heavy phone, and wham, just hits him in the head. She's like kicking him. So you pig. And I like that she gets her clothes. She's about to leave, and then she like clicks back to, with her heels to plant the bug, and then shuffles off. And it's like, Helen, wait. And we get the zoom on Helen. Harry? See, yes, it's Harry. I know it looks bad.
It's Harry.
It's Harry. So the bad guys burst in. They take Helen and Harry. He's trying to take the focus off of her. He's like, oh, she's just some hooker I met at the bar. And she's like, Harry, please just let me handle this.
She's a hooker.
Yeah, she's just a hooker. So they take them outside, put them in a van. They're driven to this airport, small private plane. Juno comes out. She's being all bad. Harry's like, I just like to let the crazy bitch go. Helen's like, I am his wife. She is very truthful, very honest woman. And so she's like, okay, well, then where did I get this? And she shows them this locket, the picture of the two of them, which Juno takes that. And they tranquilize her. It's like, that hurt you. And she fades away. Helen's out. They knock Harry out too. Then they take a helicopter. There are many modes of transportation to get to this place. They've taken a van, they've taken a plane, taken a helicopter, and now they're finally in Key West.
You'd think like they just need one thing to get there, but
I know it's like planes, trains, and automobiles all over again.
Yeah. Smooth.
So Aziz is there to greet them. Juno's talking about these giant Assyrian statues, these 4 horsemen, she calls them, these warrior figures, very old, but they're not real. They've just been used to smuggle in these warheads. And Aziz, you can see the anticipation on his face. Some really good acting here by Art Malik. And he has to touch it, the nuke.
Yeah.
He has his own moment before calling the taskers over. And I like that. I mean, he doesn't have a lot of time to develop as a character. He's just a bad guy. Like we just know he wants to kill people. I don't know, just seeing that affinity, that connection that he has with that warhead, like as an instrument. He later calls it like a mighty sword to strike down, the infidel and stuff. And so I think that's a cool moment. And he asks Harry, do you know what this is? He's like, I know what it is. It's an espresso machine.
Oh my God.
And Aziz, like, just his face goes flat,
Yeah.
His face slackens. He was so excited. No. It's a snow cone maker. That's what it is. Is it a water heater?
I was like, water heater?
Is it a water heater? And he grabs Helen, threatens to kill her. There's something like, the last thing you will see will be your blood spraying across his face or something. It's intense. So Harry complies. He verifies the weapon in great detail, and Aziz is satisfied. And then this is where Harry confesses that he's a spy. And for Helen,
climax reached.
You can just see in her face her trying to sort out the emotions that she is having right now.
Everything.
It just coalesces into anger. Bam! Punches him right in the face. It's like, I'm sorry, honey.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm sorry.
So you don't get to call me honey anymore, you pig. I love Jamie Lee Curtis. I think she is such a treasure of an actor and activist. And I mean, she's just, I don't know, just wonderful in everything I've seen her in. And even when she's off camera, like doing interviews and stuff. But so Aziz is recording a video to be distributed saying, we're going to blow up a major U.S. city each week. And we're going to demonstrate our power with a little test. So they're going to blow up this nuke, somewhere off the Florida Keys. And so this camera guy, this is just a really fun moment. I just love this. So he's recording, his bad guy video with the warhead. And then on the screen, we can see, what the camera guy's seeing. And it says low bat. And he gets a little nervous, starts sweating a little bit, and it dies. In the middle of the speech. He's freaking the fuck out. His hands started shaking. So, as he stops, he just kind of gestures like, what's up? It's the batteries. He's like, get another one. Just shh, don't talk to me. That scene shows like how scary he is. He's the sand spider,
Yeah.
which no one ever calls him that.
Scary.
Ever again.
Sounds scary.
It sounds scary. So Gibb and his team, they're flying in by plane. They've been tracking Helen's purse, and they lose the signal. Helen and Harry are brought to this torture room by Juno and introduced to a man named Samir, which the way she says it, I didn't know his name until I subtitled it.
Yeah,
This is Samir.
Exactly. How'd she say it? Like
she says
smear, like smear.
She's like,
or
this is Samir. It's almost like she's like
Samir.
Yeah, the last syllable isn't really enunciated. But yeah, there's all these scary tools on the table, and they're going to make him talk. They give him the truth serum. He's like, aren't you going to swab that with alcohol? I might get an infection. And I don't know who this creepy guy is playing Samir, but he's scary looking.
It's probably Simon's brother.
Yeah. I'll return when this has taken effect.
And just don't exist.
Yeah, don't exist. He's not going to exist much longer.
Yeah.
Juno she doesn't care about their cause. It's all about the money. And this is another great line. Harry says, "You're damaged goods, lady." Whenever he says it, he sounds like a little kid. It's like "You're damaged goods, lady."
You're damaged goods.
Yeah, you can see like a 5-year-old saying that. She kisses on him to hurt Helen. And
that's the cougar.
The cougar. Juno and the crew leave them, and Harry says nothing happened with her, and he's getting groggy, and everything's really slowing down. I love his POV thing because it pitches down all the audio. There's a lot of pitched down audio in this movie.
Yeah. That hasn't happened a lot like in this time period either during the 90s. Like when you have that kind of a effect.
Yeah.
Audio, right?
I don't think so. Yeah. It's kind of gimmicky, but I don't know. I mean, I have seen it before, but I think it worked pretty well.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too.
She asked, "What do they give you?" And he's like, "Oh, it's sodium mannitol or some other truth agent." He's like, "Is it working?" He's like, "Try me." "Are we going to die?" Like, "Yep." I'd say it's working. "How long have you been a spy, Harry?" 17 years he's been a spy. But I like this shot of Jamie Lee Curtis. She's doing some good acting here. She just can't believe it. But she kind of has a half smile on her face, too. They've been together 15 years, so he's always been a secret agent. And I think it's just
she just never knew it.
Yeah. She's just like, wow, that's so fucking cool. But how did I not know? It's like, have you ever killed anyone? Yeah, but they were all bad.
They were all... This is my favorite line in the movie. Just because, they were all bad.
They were all bad.
Like, all right, dude.
He's like, I'm actually a good guy. I'm still Harry, your husband.
Jeez, man. That's great.
Yeah. Aziz notices in Helen's purse a photo of Dana. Then Samir comes back. He's like, "Oh, have you anything to say?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm going to kill you." "I see." He's like, "First, I'm going to use you as a human shield." He's like, "I'm going to kill that guy with the Patterson Trocar on the table." We had no idea what this was. Like, this is, like I said, a case where subtitles help. We put this out on Twitter, but FYI, a Patterson Trocar is a hollow surgical instrument used as a portal for other instruments like scissors and things like that, used for laparoscopic surgery. So that's what that is. So
Patterson Trocar.
Wow. And it's a specific kind of Patterson Trocar. I think it's interesting that Harry knows what that is.
Yeah, seriously. Well, especially with his accent.
Right, exactly. With his accent, you can't really... I've never known what he's saying. I just he's describing that metal thing over there.
Or like he's actually talking about a car, you know?
Yeah.
Get in your car.
Well, the Terminator came up on our Patreon episode of Knight's Tale. We're talking about medieval Terminators and what if Geoffrey Chaucer walked up and said, "I need your clothes, your boots, and your horse." So anyway, Harry kills him. He's got guns now. They're sneaking out, making their escape. And then these jihadists are just wasting bullets by shooting in the air. They get found out briefly, and Harry kills the guy, and he tells her, "Next time, duck," and kisses her. And Helen says, "I married Rambo." And it's pretty cool because Jim Cameron co-wrote Rambo First Blood Part 2.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So Helen and Harry, they're listening to Aziz give the speech, and Harry is translating because he's a whiz and he knows all these languages. Aziz has a key to arm the weapon. In 90 minutes, we will demonstrate our power. They see that they're using trucks, so they think that they must be in the Florida Keys, so they're able to figure out kind of where they are geographically. There's no one to stop them except us. He gives Helen a gun. This is an automatic. It's an Ingram M11, if I'm not mistaken. And she's like, holy
does she even
shit.
Does she even have a concealed carry? I mean, you know.
Oh, honey. Oh, honey. No. She's probably never shot a gun before.
I mean, damn.
You don't get to call me honey ever again, you pig. You pig. You pig. So Harry breaks this guy's neck upside down. It's so badass. He kind of,
yeah, it is badass.
He just kind of comes down like Spider-Man.
Oh man,
gets business
I don't want to
done.
die that way. I don't want to.
I don't either. I bet it would be quick and probably painless.
Very quick. Yeah, probably. Yeah, well,
yeah, wouldn't be a bad way to go.
Wouldn't be a guy. Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
just a brief moment of intense pressure, and then nothing.
And that's it.
Then darkness.
That's it.
Forever.
Darkness comes in. Hello, darkness, my old friend.
You think darkness is your ally?
Gotham deserves better.
Harry tosses a grenade at these gas barrels. Place explodes, gunfire, there's burning fire. Harry fights a guy in a mesh shirt. Helen fires on them. She drops the gun tumbles down the stairs, shooting Wally, and kills everybody. It's great.
That's amazing.
And there's some great silent acting here where Harry gestures like, you? And she just shrugs, gives a thumbs up. It's great. Like, that's me. We're a team. Go team.
The gun jams. Yeah, the gun jams.
All these guns he uses jam. Like, these are shitty guns. These jihadists have terrible
market.
Yes, that black market. Yeah. Speaking of subtitles, and then that popped up on the screen. Gun jams.
Gun.
Yeah.
It's done.
Yeah. That's great. So Harry makes a flamethrower with his hose, and Aziz kicks open his random box. Just happens to be near his feet. Retrieves a bazooka. Boom. Shoots at him. Bazooka. Harry jumps in the water. Cool underwater shot of fire above.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah. And Gino's got Helen. She says to Helen, my condolences to the widow. And I like this. Helen turns and just slap punches her, basically, and has her wedding ring turned around so the diamond is on the inside. And so,
ooh.
Yeah, Gino's got a nice little cut there. She's like, come on, Susie Homemaker. But Gino almost shot her because Aziz stepped in and said, hey, we may need the hostage. So, okay.
That would have been tragic.
Yeah, off we go. It's daybreak. This was actually shot at dusk, but it's daybreak in the movie. The choppers are in. There's Gibb. Place is deserted. Harry walks out of the flames like the fucking T-1000 and T2. And Gibbs just like, yeah, I thought this was your work. Sorry, we got to get up in the air. So, did you see that guy standing on that rail of the copter?
Yep. Yeah.
Fuck that, man.
I don't understand. I don't understand, man. I mean, is that what you want to do for life? Is stand on the rail?
Because he stays there, and this entire sequence, he's still standing there.
I wonder how much he gets paid.
He probably does it for free. He probably loves it that much. Anybody that would do, I don't know.
He goes on. He goes on a date. Asks hey, so you want to bear my children? Also, my hobby. Also, my hobby. I stand on the rail of coppers. Let's get it.
You can use that for your Tinder profile.
Yeah, for sure. Go on Hinge.
Yeah,
this is me, women.
So Harry's on the radio while they're in the plane. He's like, "It's." I had to subtitle this too. A bright boy alert. A bright boy alert is what he's saying. He's like, but it comes out, a bright boy alert.
Hamburger.
There's a nuke 12 miles out. Hamburger. Yeah. Subtitles save me here. So they're on the 7 Mile Bridge. Have you ever been on this bridge?
I have not.
I haven't either. So to film these scenes, like the arrival and takeoff of the Harrier jet, the production crew closed down the traffic on the new 7 Mile Bridge at intervals for several minutes at a time. And whenever this happened, women were sent among the stopped cars, giving drivers Pepsis and bumper stickers that read, I was stopped on the 7 Mile Bridge by Omega Sector.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. Talk about
holy shit.
Some great promotional work there.
Yeah, seriously.
Great marketing. I wouldn't mind having one of those for my collection if there's any out there. I'll have to look.
You know what? I'm going to look it up right now.
Oh, good. Yeah, look it up.
Bumper sticker, prop store. Let's see. Yep, there it is.
Oh yeah, you found it?
There it is. I found it. Oh, Brandon.
What?
Brandon, they have logo patches.
Logo
Omega
patches.
Sector, the last line of defense.
Oh, man.
Oh, man. It's on propstore.com.
$16. Thanks for the tip.
Cool. Yes, sir.
So the Harriers are brought in, and the U.S. government supplied 3 Marine Harriers and their pilots for a fee of $100,736 or $2,410 per hour. So if you have a Harrier for rent, you might be in a good business.
Man.
And these were real Harriers, by the way. So what happens here? There's a guy in a truck, and he's readying a bazooka. And the guy standing behind him gets hit with something, and he goes out the front window, and he gets run over.
Called him as a bitch.
But what happens here? Like, because a missile came out.
Yeah.
So I don't know, something came out the other end, but I love the guy just goes through the front window of the van and gets run over. Harriers, they avoid the missile. The guys in the van, they don't know what happened. The Harriers, they take out a section of the bridge. Some good model work done here. Like this isn't a CG bridge. This is a model bridge.
Yeah,
for some of the shots. And in this one truck is hanging off, and it's just balanced right to where they're not going to fall off. And they laugh it off. They're like, we're going to live. And then the fucking Pelican flies in and lands on the hood. And they're just like, and down they go.
All because of a Pelican.
I know. It's Pelican murder, man.
Seriously, man.
Which I was working on drive-in totals for this movie because I stupidly promised that we would do that from now on.
Yes.
But all I had were 90 dead bodies, no breasts, several motor vehicle chases, and murdering Pelican.
Murder.
Yeah. Pelican murder.
Okay. It's a Pelican murder.
The Pelican murders. That's the sequel to the Pelican Brief.
Yes. Stephen King needs to write it.
Yeah, the Pelican murders. He would probably call it the fucking Pelican.
Yeah.
Great. Helen and Juno, they're in the limo and they're struggling for the gun. The driver gets shot. He's taken out. The car's out of control. The gun gets on the roof of the limo and Helen's getting scrappy. She grabs this champagne bottle and she's like one? Bam. How about 2? Bam! Bitch went down. Helen Tasker, super bitch.
It just hypes you up. It just really hypes you up.
Oh yeah, it does.
Female power.
Harry climbs out onto the rail helicopter. Rail? I don't know. Is that what it's called?
It's a rail.
Helicopters. Yeah. Helen's popped out of the limo sunroof, and Harry is trying to tell her that the bridge is out. The bridge is out. That's what it sounds like. And she can't hear him. And so she out. The bridge is out. I can't even do it now. It's a good gag because she turns around and she sees, all the smoke and everything. And she's like, oh my God, the bridge is out. The bridge is out. And he's just kind of like, oh my God. It's a good gag.
Jeez.
So take my hand. And Juno's like, oh shit, because she's about to go off the bridge. I like this because she's a little scared and they can't quite get their hands to touch yet. And he's like, come on, baby. Come on, baby. It's like, fuck yeah.
Baby.
Helen grabs that man hand. and the limo goes into the water and she's dangling from this helicopter. Now, let me tell you this little story. So Jamie Lee Curtis performed the helicopter rescue scene herself. At her insistence, Cameron agreed to let her perform this scary spectacle because she said on the TV special promoting True Lies, it was Cameron's idea for her to do the helicopter work. She said, oh yeah, and just where are you going to be while I'm dangling way up there in the air, Jim? And according to her, he said, hanging out the window, filming you with a handheld camera. So she decided if he was willing to do that to get the shot, she could stand to do it too. So she did the helicopter stunt on her 35th birthday, November 22nd, 1993.
Yeah.
She called the film, without question, the greatest experience of her professional life so far.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah,
that's just awesome. Like for someone of that caliber to say that, I mean, that speaks volumes to how they made this movie. That's awesome.
Yeah. She's very dedicated and real trooper, man. The Harriers copter lands. Helen is having quite a thrill. She just screams because she's so turned on right now. Just having a blast. Like she is having a great time. Clearing the area, telling everybody, don't look at the flash. And Helen and Harry have a little moment here, moves her wedding ring for her to the right. I mean, the correct hand. And they kiss against this big flash, the mushroom cloud in the background. this feels like the ending, doesn't it?
You would think.
You would think.
You would think.
I mean, we know there's still some loose threads.
Like it was coming together.
Yeah. It's like this is the
Coming
climactic
together,
moment. Their marriage is, renewed. The love they have for each other has been renewed.
Right.
Gib calls him over and he tells Helen, I gotta go. He's like, okay, bye.
yeah.
He's like a little kid, like running off. Like, I gotta go play with my friends. Okay, bye.
Bye, Mom.
Gib says that these faction members are held up with a hostage, and it's Dana. He thinks they nabbed her in the night or something. So Harry steals a Harrier jet. Wow. And Gib's trying to talk him out of it, saying, it's been a while. It's been 10 years since you've been in one of these things. A little rough getting into the air. Again, very apologetic for all the damage he's doing. Sorry.
Sorry. For the 10,000th time. It's fine.
Yeah. And there are some shots where they use a scale model of the Harrier, and the soundstage where they shot the model was the largest 180-degree green screen background ever built. And sometimes the Harrier's on a crane, and Arnold said that when it was on a crane, like he was stuck there all day. So he spent many, many, many hours in there, hungry and pissing himself.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. He would radio down to Jim Cameron and say, hey, I got to pee. And they'd be like, well, you're going to have to hold it till we get the shot. But the Harriers are pretty cool. Like, I like seeing them take off, that vertical takeoff. Pretty cool. Aziz is watching news coverage of the hostage situation, and they're talking about the demands, and there are 3 nukes left, and a video crew has been sent for. So the SWAT team lets them in. Faisal is among them, undercover, as a camera guy. And Aziz is telling the camera, like, you saw what we can do, one turn of that key. And of course, some dumb reporter is like, what key? And he's like, that key. And he points at it, and it's gone. And so Dana took it. And so he chases after her. Faisal pulls a gun out of the camera. This is pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Shoots 3 guys with a great thrill. He's like, whoa, what a rush, And Dana climbs out onto this crane. Aziz climbs out after her. And Mondo and Patrick from Thematic Elements, if you guys are listening, you're probably having flashbacks to our episode on Jack the Bear when Norman goes after Jack on that tree. You missed that one, Joseph. It was such a fun episode.
I know. Man, I still regret it. I tell you what, guys, if I could just go back and be in that moment again, I would have immediately just gone right into that episode with y'all. So it turned out to be great, though. Y'all did a great job.
Yeah, it was good. So if you haven't listened to that episode, you should go check that out. It's a lot of fun. Dana threatens to drop the key from the crane. He's trying to be nice. He holsters or he slings his weapon over his side, and he's like, give me the key. I won't hurt you. I'll give you my word and everything. And she's like, no way, you wacko. Which really pisses him off.
Oh, yeah.
Like livid. You could see his face change. Like that.
Holy shit.
Was the insult that got under his skin. He must be a pretty thin-skinned person. He seems to be easily offended.
He must have had a bad childhood.
Yeah, I would say he probably did. And there's a really good gag here with the terrorist with the binoculars. Like he's looking out the window and Harry just flies right down to the window and blows the whole floor to hell. Everybody.
It was a good shot.
Dana, she slips. She's hanging off. Harry arrives to save her. She's like, Dad? And even Aziz can't believe it. He's like, because he thinks Harry blew up in the keys. He's like, jump down. No, I can't. I jump down, Dana. I'll catch you, Dana.
Dana.
There is a moment where he screams her name and his voice breaks a little bit. Like, yeah, Dana. So some assholes in a copter nearby are still firing.
Of course.
And they're being evasive. Dana jumps. She lands on the cockpit part, and she's holding on. The glass has been busted out. And Aziz jumps down on the wing, and there's a struggle. And there's a shot of this guy in an office listening to music, and he's vacuuming. And then just the tail of the Harrier bursts in. It's great. It's a great little gag. And Aziz is thrown back in such a way that he lands on the tail of the plane and just gets it right in the balls, which, this is the 90s. Like anytime someone gets kicked in the balls, it's funny. The gun is there. So he grabs that and he tells him to land this thing. Harry signals to Dana to hold on. He dips the plane down. Aziz loses the gun and he gets slung on a missile. And then Harry, I love this. Like he sees an opportunity. He sees the copter through a hole in the building, basically. And he looks back at Aziz and he's like, you're fired. Literally at the copter, boom. It's a cool effect shot.
It's awesome.
It still
really
looks
awesome.
pretty good, I think. So Harry lands, all is well, except Dana is traumatized.
I think she's going to have PTSD for the rest of her life.
Oh, yeah, for certain.
For sure.
For certain.
She was already messed up.
And so you think it's the end, right? No, we get another ending. But
you thought.
It's like Clue. And we just had all these different endings. But no,
we got our man.
We got Mrs. Peacock was a man. So it's a year later. This is kind of an epilogue. Dinner at the Tasker's house, and they're playing thumb games. 1, 2, 3,
would
4.
you play thumb
I
games?
declare a thumb more.
Would you play thumb? Brandon, would you play thumb games at the dinner table?
No, I've never played a thumb game ever. Colin's always like, let's thumb wrestle or something like that. And I'm like, why? I don't want to do that. That's stupid. Like, so he has a stronger thumb. I don't know. I can be a real party pooper. And I hate it. But...
Brandon, it's all your fault.
Yeah. So Helen is a little less uptight now. She's got her hair down, it's grown out a little bit. And there's a phone call. She goes to answer it. Boris and Doris. And she just turns and is like, we're on. This, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I like this. Because, come on, like, she's working for the Omega Sector now.
Thank you. Exactly. And I think a lot of our viewers will definitely agree with us. Maybe for the damn Omega Sector, okay? Not for the damn Chinese secret police, okay? They're going to be training for like years. Maybe for the Omega Sector, all you have to do is just take this placement test and sign yourself in after like 2 weeks of practice. That's probably how Helen got in.
It's perfectly plausible that it could happen. It could happen in a year that she went through training and decided she wanted to be a spy and lived out her dream. I want to be able to give Helen some credit, for being a badass.
After 17 years though, like,
yeah. So we're at this elegant party. The Blue Danube is playing. Heard that before? We're bookending this thing. Helen and Harry are making their rounds. Helen is doing some of the same. Apparently, Harry trained her because she's like, "Oh, hello. Good evening, General. Good to see you again." It's, "Oh, delightful. Yeah, who was that?" And we got the crew back together. We got Gib and Faisal in the van. She says, "I see an old friend I'd like to say hello to." And it's Carlos the Jackal, or Simon, doing his thing.
Jeez.
So I just got to keep up the waiter bit unless things go south. It's like being all suave and dangerous. And then, so Helen sneaks up on him, puts something under his chin. He thinks it's a gun, so he pees himself and says the same thing that he told her from way back. Fear is not an option. And he runs away. He's so scared.
Oh my gosh.
And it was just her lipstick. It wasn't a gun. So she put some lipstick on. And poor Una Cabeza starts playing. And so this party has the same playlist as
Literally
the one from the
playlist.
first one. So they dance the tango. And Gibbs like, oh no, shit, here we go. So they tango. And Gibbs like, we got work to do. Come on, guys. All right. Getting pretty serious in there. And so they just ignore him. And we just roll the credits over this. That's True Lies, man.
Yeah.
It's groovy. Yeah. It's a groovy.
It is
movie.
groovy. It's groovy tuvy.
Joseph, give me your final thoughts on this movie.
Sorry. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, no, I thought, this was a beautiful action film. Just the casting, and James Cameron, man, what a badass. Arnold, God bless that man. Like, every single thing that he does is just over the top. And I mean, you love him for it. And in this movie, he did a great job with being his character. Mm-hmm. And especially being a two-front guy. Seeing Arnold as a computer geek is one in a million. Got to admit, Jamie Lee, like, oh my God, she's absolutely outstanding, as she always is. So, if you were to sit down on any given night and wanted to watch an action film, one that is actually funny, clean, and just an outstanding plot done by an outstanding director, this is a movie to do that. And I'm not just praising this movie just to praise it. Brandon always picks out high quality films, and this is definitely one of them. So yeah, man. Good job.
Thanks. I'm glad you like it. Like I said, it's one of my favorites. It's probably in my top 3 favorite action films, or at least spy film. So, I mean, it has everything. It has humor. It has the action. It has the drama. Exciting. Like it's just a fun movie, to put on. I mean, even it's one that you can go back to and revisit over and over again, and you can get a little bit more out of it. I mean, I get more out of doing this podcast, like the prep work for the podcast. Like I learned so much more about these movies that I'm very, very close to, and I think I know a lot about. But then I realize, I come across new things and experience it in a new way. So that's really cool.
Right.
But this movie it's a real gem. Like this is one I watched a lot on HBO when I was a kid, but I'm pretty sure I saw it in theaters. I don't think I owned it on video, but I watched it so much. I think I had it recorded on TV. It's a very dear film to me. I like Arnold in it, and Jamie Lee Curtis, and Art Malik I really appreciate a lot more this time around as an actor. But the late Bill Paxton, I mean, it's heartbreaking to see him in anything now because he was a real treasure that we lost. But yeah, overall, like, it's so solid. The writing is really great. It's tight. It's smart. It's funny. I mean, it's a Jim Cameron movie, so it's going to be a good time. Solid recommend for me too. So, Joseph, you have some shout outs today.
Yeah. So this time on Joe's shout outs, y'all, I'm giving this epic shout out to the Hilarious World of Depression podcast. Now, you're probably like, what the hell, Joe? Like, why are you doing depression or anxiety? Well, all of us have to deal with depression or anxiety one way or another. Like we're all human. So I thought I'd give a helping hand and be like, well, if you guys want to just listen to another podcast and maybe listen to something that will help you personally in your personal life, this could definitely help. And since we talked about comedy today with this action film, this is also a comical podcast. So yeah, the Hilarious World of Depression podcast, they talk about all the different types of internal anxiety that people go through. It's a lot of insight with some laughs. They have a lot of professional guests on, radio hosts, Maria Bamford, Paul F. Tompkins, Andy Richter, awesome people. The head guy is John Moe. He's the host and creator of the podcast. Go on their website, the Hilarious World of Depression .org. It's an awesome title. So
All
yeah,
right. I'll have to check that one out.
And now, coming soon to video cassette.
So, Joseph, I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Are you a man of constant sorrow?
Why, yes, I am. I am the paterfamilias itself, sir. We are going to be doing Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? For our next Vericon video episode on our main feed, y'all. That is right. It's going to be an epic time. We're going to be going through the whole show. And I personally been watching this movie since I was probably 2 years old. Yeah, Brandon and I are excited.
Yeah, I'm excited. I've only seen it once. So maybe twice. I'm not sure. But yeah, no, this is one not as familiar with as you. So I'm excited to dig more deeply into it. And also, I wanted to mention that we have talked about it, and we are going to start doing some quarterly commentaries over on Patreon as an additional perk for our $4 a month patrons, you preferred renters out there. And we'll be doing the first one pretty soon once we kind of figure out how we're going to do this thing. But I think it could be a lot of fun.
It's going to be awesome.
And it's that time. We want to give a special shout out to our lovely, lovely patrons who support the show over on Patreon. We have Mondo, Pete, Colin, Mike, Jack, Lewis, Test Pattern, Bloody in Love, James, Ryan M, Ryan S, and we've got a new one, Mr. Sketches from across the pond. Thank you all so very much for supporting the show. And if you're interested in becoming a patron of the show, visit patreon.com/VericonVideo for more information.
You guys are the bomb.com.
Remember to rate and review the show on iTunes. If you have questions, suggestions, or just want to tell Brandon and Joseph what you think of the show, send them an email at vericonvideo@gmail.com or call the Vericon Video hotline at 312-620-5560. They are also on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Vericon Video. Thank you for listening, and stay tuned for Brandon and Joseph's next chat about another exciting movie from the rental era. So long, and peace out.
Goodbye, Vietnam! That's right. I'm history.
I'm out of here. I got the lucky ticket home, baby.
Okay, bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Jenny.
Bye-bye, boys.
Have fun storming the castle. Goodbye.
Do take good care of yourself.
What is this, your farewell speech? Going home. Have a good trip.
Hasta la vista, baby. I have to go.
Adieu. Auf Wiedersehen. Gesundheit.
Farewell.